Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lex Outs here, and well, oh, call Emmanuel, and show us that your talent is real. That shots that are long are made here. And to the Raptors, more wins will appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel. We shall see that his talent is real. Oh, call thou bud of RJ, get free to thine own space and maketh a three. From depths of court, your shot selection so brave. You can give us victory to be a new fan fave. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel. We come to see his contract's a deal. Oh, call 5 Raptors freaks, come and cheer. Our spirited combo guard we have here. He'll drive the lane for a layup, make it all right. And for the crowds, he'll go get the win tonight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel. We shall see that quickly is real. I wrote this song for Christmas Day last year, and now that song in 2 weeks has come true. I knew this shit was going to happen. And all this bullshit the last 2 weeks about Emmanuel Quickly, this is what you get. You fake fans. You see the reality of who Emmanuel Quickly is now, and all you bullshit artists with your bullshit the last 2 weeks, he deserves a fucking apology from you pieces of shit for your bullshit and all you're saying about Emmanuel Quickly. I'm sick of this crap. You know what? When you watch basketball like I have, you see a type of player that's a winner. You see a type of player that makes shots when it matters. You see a type of player that is just not easily discarded just because, oh, I don't like the way he shoots so much. Oh, I don't like the way he seems so cocky. Oh, I don't like the way he seems so wasteful on our team. Bullshit artists out there with your content. This is what you get, motherfuckers. A win. Yeah, bitches. Lick it up and rejoice. Emmanuel Quickly being a Raptor, because that is the real deal Holyfield stuff right there. That is the stuff right there. When you see Brandon Ingram go out for the game, you see Scotty Barnes not play most of the fourth quarter. You see the referees come in and go 8 versus 5 on the Raptors. What happens? What happens, Raptors fans? Do we roll over and lose because we lost Brandon? Do we roll over and lose because Scotty is out for the fourth? Do we roll over and lose because the referees are full of shit and they're fucking calling the calls all fucked up? Do we roll over and lose because we can't make a single damn three-point shot? No, we don't. Because we got guys on our team named RJ and Emmanuel. And it's 9-5, bitches. In the fourth quarter, that's when it's time on the clock. It's 9-5, motherfuckers. And you see, I told y'all that if these motherfuckers miss shots the whole entire game in the fourth quarter, they're showing up. And they're not losing no games just because they're missing shots. No. They're going to play the defense. They're going to find a way. They're going to even it out, as Emmanuel said. That, a lot of shots may not have gone in, but when it mattered, it did, didn't it? When it mattered, it did. And I'll tell you, all that joy, all that happiness that y'all felt last night, Raptors Nation, there better been some guilt in your fucking heart, too, for how you treated Emmanuel Quickly the last 2 weeks. Not from me, no, because last night is exactly what I wrote in a song 2 weeks ago. Last night is exactly in a song that I wrote 2 weeks ago on Christmas Day. And I wasn't sure when the fruition of the song would come true. I didn't realize it'd be so soon. And get used to it, because these dudes don't like losing. And they ain't going to try to lose no more. They're going to be out there competing and battling and hitting shots when it matters most. And that's why I love our 9 to 5 combo. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So how do you feel? Where's the apology forms? I want to see them on the desk of Bobby Webster tomorrow. All you fake-ass fans who fucking are selling out Emmanuel quickly the last couple weeks, where's your apology forms? That's right. Who do you want on your team? You want somebody who's going to win games for you at the last second, 1.6 seconds, who's skilled and can get like that? Yeah, that's who you want on your team. That's who you want on your team, right? Right? Is that who you want on your team, Raptors fans? A guy who's going to make a 1.6 second fucking shot of a perfectly run play that was designed by their coach, and they fucking executed it exactly perfect. What would you want? What do you want? What do you want in this life, Raptors fans? You want clickbait? You want exciting, stupid-ass Raptors content that gets you all in a tizzy about Anthony Davis and Trae Young and all this bullshit and dumps on people like Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett? Is that what you fucking want, Raptors fans? Or do you want real wins? You want real fucking buzzer beater wins. You want a good record. You want the playoffs. You want Larry O'Brien's. What the fuck do y'all want? What do you want with your Raptors? What do you want? Search your heart and know the truth that Emmanuel is real, for real, and his talent is real. And that's why I want him on this team. That's why. You seen it last night. You seen it last night, you fake-ass fans, you critics, you science lab motherfuckers with your microscopes getting them out and putting the players underneath on the lens. Yeah, you seen it last night. And once again, Lex is right. Lex is right. And I tell you, I come around and I want the receipts from you motherfuckers that were putting him down and saying all this shit about him. Nah, just like Fred before, I stood strong with our point guard. The guy with the big balls to take the big shots. And when the big shots go in, they're the hero. When they don't, they're the GOAT. They get the shit. They get the bullshit. And it takes a special breed of person to be willing to take that responsibility, especially when Brandon Ingram is not in the game, and try and take a big ball shot and make a big ball shot and get a big balls win. So, yeah, I stand with big balls players like Fred VanVleet and Emmanuel Quickly. Even if they look bad, even though they try and fail sometimes, because sometimes they try and they win and they succeed. And that's what it takes to win in the NBA. You can't stand by and just let it pass by. You could be a passive player. I don't want that responsibility, Lex. They could hate me if I miss it. It takes a lot of fucking guts to be a player like Fred or Emmanuel. And y'all need to respect that shit better. This is what I'm saying to Raptors fans. Not to my Raptor freaks, because I know they ride with me. I know that they understand what I'm talking about all along. But a lot of Raptors Nation, where's your apology form, motherfuckers? That's what I'm saying this morning. Seriously. Oh, rejoice, rejoice. The Raptors beat Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte last night by 1 point at a buzzer beater. It was an 8 versus 5. No lie, seriously. Barnecki, you and Schroeder and Twardowski, you were flaky and fucked up the whole fucking game. Right from the start, we saw Brandon Ingram and RJ make baskets, but they didn't count. No continuation, fouls on the floor way before. You know, I figured this out. The refs do this weird thing. If they see a matchup that favors a team and they know that they're going to score, it's a basket. There's one example, Murray-Boyles got a ball near the basket and the defender was not going to be able to stop him. So they called the foul. He made the shot over the guy, but they called the foul on the floor and side outed it. It's a really crazy way to erase points on teams now. They did it to us twice within the first minute of the game, once to RJ and once to Brandon. And it's basically the refs are deciding when the foul occurs on whether the ball is being shot or not. And it's very gray area. It's very subjective. They can like make up any kind of convoluted bullshit to explain why it's this or this. Because like, look, If LeBron's getting fouled at the beginning of the game and he's running to the basket and he makes the shot, that's an and one. They put him on the line for one free throw and they count the basket. Now, what were they doing to Brandon and RJ at the beginning of the game? These guys made these shots. They should have had and ones. But no, they wiped the whole thing. And they say, nah, actually, this one for you, Brandon, was on the floor. It's just side out. No opportunity at the free throw line and nothing. Even though you made the shot and you got fouled. Wait, what the fuck is that? He made the shot. He was fouled. In continuation, he made the shot. But no, they're saying the foul's on the floor and he has to go out of bounds with the side out and no point opportunities on this possession. The similar thing happened with RJ. The next trip down the floor. The thing about it with RJ, though, is they could have denied that he shouldn't at least get free throws. But once again, he made the shot and he should have only shot one free throw. But instead, they were like, no, the foul's before. Wait the fuck. What the fuck? He made the shot afterwards. He should shoot one free throw. No, he gets to shoot two free throws. Then there's no continuation. Screwy ass shit. You have all those kind of weird calls with okay, these guys at the other end, Con Knipple and these guys are driving, but they're in the shooting motion, so they're going to the free throw line every time. But every time the Raptors are driving to the basket, it's not a shooting foul, it's a side out. That's a big, huge ref manipulation they're using these days. And it's point shaving, honestly, because basically you took points away from Brandon and RJ immediately from the beginning of the game. And another thing is it's really devious because if the Raptors are shooting around 30% as a team, like they were last night, you make a couple of the shots that you're actually making, that can be a huge chunk of your offense if the referees are nilling it. It's like almost like, oh, we finally made a shot, but then, oh, no, the ref's saying, no, it's a side out foul, and there's no points put on the board. It's really fucked up. And this was huge. They did this last night. They artificially put the Hornets on top of us for the whole game. And then the Raptors, miraculously, through injuries and the refs, came back and won by one. That's impressive. That's very impressive. Because honestly, if the refs had reffed this game right and fairly, we would have beat them by double digits easily and cleared Hornets easily. They gave the Hornets a chance to win this game by the way they called their whistle. And it wasn't just the side out stuff I was just talking about. They also did weird shit with possession arrows. Every single ball that went out of bounds was Charlotte's possession. There was a lot of calls where it went out of bounds and it was dubious and, probably should have been our ball, but they just gave it blanketly to Charlotte almost every time. Charlotte ball, Charlotte ball. One of the things was the calls were so bad in the first half that Darko used his challenges like immediately in the first half. It was crazy. I didn't agree with him doing that second one, especially because the second challenge didn't really get them anything but a jump ball. And that was, I know he's trying to save fouls and all this other stuff, but in some ways that's indicative of the refs being so bad at their job that Darko felt like he needed to use both his challenges in the first half. Because in the second half, we could have used those challenges, definitely, because there were a lot of bad calls in the second half also that the refs got totally wrong and were favoring Charlotte. So it's kind of a weird situation. The refs come out so bad in the beginning that Darko has to feel like he needs to correct them, but then he's out of challenges for the second half. It's kind of crazy. Darko really impressed me last night. There's some things that he did last night that are absolutely top level coach stuff. And in some ways, we need to respect our coach a lot more, Raptors fans, because this dude is a badass. And I'm going to explain what he did last night that really impressed me. This may be the most impressive thing he's done the whole 3 years he's been on the Raptors as our coach. And I'll explain it soon. But yeah, let me get into y'all's comments a bit. We got the stars of the game. I got to set y'all up for G League 905 game tonight against Noblesville Boom. In fact, we'll just do that real quick. Referees for Paramount Fine Food Center, 7:30 tonight. Indiana Pacers G League team facing Raptors 905. CP Painter is the crew chief, number 66. That's Chalisa. Jafar Kinsey is the referee, number 38. And Ian McClenny is the umpire, number 59. Yeah, that Raptors 905 want to continue their winning ways out at Paramount. I invite everybody to come to the YouTube channel and watch it on YouTube with us in Canada tonight in the chat with Superfan Mo, myself, and other great Raptor freaks, and also possibly Blake Murphy. He's usually in there also to talk to the fans. So yeah, fantastic game last night. We have the stars of the game, the straight goods on Canadian goods, the Instagram stories, the classic card of the day. All the fun segments are coming up on the show. All right, let me see what y'all are saying. First thing in the chat. Woo-wee, did y'all see how I came in hot like that? I think some of y'all didn't like me yelling. I'm just saying, man, the Emmanuel hate was so ridiculous and stupid. And sometimes intangibles and things about players. Like Emmanuel said after the game last night, I've played in this league for 6 years and I understand the NBA. I understand what you do to win. And that's a player I want on my team. Okay. That's a player I want on my team. I'm sorry, man. And that play was flawless, honestly. The really interesting thing is it's a 1.6-second inbound play. The Hornets are already kind of celebrating that they won, which is hilarious. And the call of the Hornets announcers was absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you haven't seen it or heard it yet. You should go watch it. The guy about died when he made the shot. It was hilarious. The announcer was such a homer. He was so upset. But yeah, the syncopation of that play. Now, basically, you got Colin Murray-Boyles is just kind of stashed away in the corner, not really involved in the whole thing. But you got your coach who set up the play. He called that play. Darko called that play. That was not freelancing or improvisation by the Raptors. He drew that play up for Emmanuel to make that. So you got Sandro as the passer who makes a very, very well-timed, great inbounds pass. You've got RJ, who's the wiper, who comes through the area that Emmanuel's going to take the shot and clears it out by doing a cut run through there to go to another area to pull any kind of defenders with him towards there. And then you have Scotty, who's the screener. And Scotty does a little hedge screen to get the guy guarding Emmanuel who comes up. And the announcer on Charlotte even called it. He's like, watch out for Quickly coming up to the top. He said that. And then the horror revealed itself to him, to his eyes right in front of him, executing perfectly. And, you know, even RJ said after the game, Scotty did such a good job screening off the defender on Emmanuel that Emmanuel had more than enough time at 1.6 to hit that shot and make sure he got it. Yeah, you know, he lives for that kind of shot. This is the stuff they do. This is why they work so hard. They have made themselves computers to run that program when that is the time to run it. And man, oh, so awesome. So epic. What a series with the Hornets this year. In fact, I would say we should be 3-1 over them if Mark Davis had not railroaded us to overtime in that one game in Charlotte. We should be 3-1 with them this year. But we're 2-2. And as the Charlotte announcer said at the end of the game, I hope we play the Raptors in the playoffs. If you make the playoffs, Hornets, you punk-ass bitches. All right, let's see. Trevor J's here. He's saying words of wisdom from Commissioner Fun, Trevor J. Don't feel bad if people remember you only when they need you. Feel privileged that you are like a candle that comes to their mind when there is darkness. Yeah, I've never been upset about that. You know, it's weird because I have a lot of friends from a lot of different chapters in my life, and I don't stay in contact with everybody, but I am there for them when they need me. And it's interesting how people from very, very far in my past sometimes will pop up and I'll help them. And I have no problem with doing that. Part of it's because I'm in AA. And you know, there's a lot of credo in being in AA and having time and being a sponsor for people that you don't want to refuse them helping them. In some ways, this world has so many takers in it already. If you're a giver, that's awesome. But protect your energy, protect your resources, and protect yourself so that you're not overextended and burned out. So I would say let's be more givers in this world because we're going to need this. And in some ways, these takers will get what they get in the end. Trust me. An empty, hollow life with a bunch of stuff, but no true happiness. So, yeah, giving is actually happiness in itself because you get the reward of feeling like making a difference in somebody's life in a positive way. That's why so many people volunteer. That's why there's people down at soup kitchens. That's why people do things that are just out of the goodness of their heart and they don't have any like other reasons for it. That's the secret right there. Giving is actually kind of selfish in a way if you look at it. Yeah, I love the words of wisdom. Thank you, Trevor J. That was awesome. Trevor's saying, what a comeback win. RJ and IQ take over in the fourth. IQ game winner, 3-point shot, big time. Y'all heard what Scotty said. What are you going to say now? You know, this is the thing, man. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, I said, all right, it's RJ and Emmanuel time. And I was right. I called it before the fourth quarter started. I was like, watch, RJ's going to have a huge fourth quarter, and so will Emmanuel. They may miss all their shots for the whole game, but in the fourth, they'll make them. RJ got asked this after the game last night. Some reporter asked him about his free throws, which in some ways I respect the reporter asking about that because it is something that I feel like RJ should get asked about. But he was pissed. He was like, well, what are you talking about? My free throws. I'll tell you, I make them when they matter in clutch, is what he said to the guy. And he did say, yeah, there's a couple problems with the ball bouncing around and dancing around the rim and falling out and stuff like that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why I'm missing them early. Either way, he got mad at that reporter. But, this is the thing. These guys are pros, and they believe in themselves. And what fuels RJ and Emmanuel to be successful is confidence. And like RJ said after the game, if I'm not confident out there, I'm not going to make anything. So I have to be confident. And you see that confidence and those shots, the spinning shots he made in the middle of the lane. He said, I'm confident because I put in the work. And these are shots that I'm used to doing and ones that I'm very confident in making because I put in the work. I put in the time. I put in the number of shots. Like all those little flip shots in the middle of the lane in the fourth quarter in traffic, with him just flipping it up over people, spinning around and shooting it in. Yeah, that's all practice like crazy by RJ Barrett. Emmanuel, yeah, he practiced that shot that he made at the end of the game. And like RJ said, he said, I had no doubt that he was going to make that shot when he caught it the way he did, because I was like, yeah, game over. Let's go home, is what he said. Because he knows Emmanuel like that. And Emmanuel knows RJ like that too. They played together. Emmanuel's whole entire career has played with RJ. And he said, yeah, I've seen this from RJ. I expect this from him because this is who he is. This is who he is. RJ, amazing in his interview after the game, saying, the one thing I want to do for the Raptors is I want to do whatever it takes to win. And on every night, that's a different job. Some nights, Darko wants me to get a lot of assists. Some nights I may have to play a heavy defense and really work on defensive end. And some nights they may call me to fill in for the fourth quarter to fill in scoring because people are absent. And that's a really good luxury to have. How many teams can lose Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes for most of the fourth quarter, be down by 10, have the referees against them, and still pull off a 1-point victory? That's not easy. You got to have somebody step up in the replacement of Brandon and even Scotty, what he does. And then to do this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And I love RJ for this. It really does prove even more and more that he is a real one for the country of Canada, the real one for the Toronto Raptors and the city of Toronto. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to help us win. And that is not a lie in any kind of way, because you can see it in what happened last night. Sure, some may say, well, this is a selfish way. Of course, everybody jump at the chance for this. But do you understand what he's saying? He doesn't want this every night, but he'll do it when we need it. And that's pretty special in a player that has that kind of talent of caliber. And in some ways, he's not demanding to be Brandon Ingram. He doesn't want that necessarily. He wants Brandon to be Brandon. He wants Scotty to be Scotty. He wants IQ to be IQ. But RJ will be that part that needs to be filled in because he's all about this. That's it. And if he can do anything on the court to help us get this, he's going to do that job for that night. And well, last night it was called carry us in the fourth to victory. And he did that. He did that. It was amazing, man. James is saying this: the Hawks should have got more for Trae Young. Horrible return, not even a second-round pick. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I could have called this, James. Trae Young's value is Seward. And, Josh Lindbergh saying something crazy last night. He's like, people are forgetting that Trae Young is so good. Somebody's going to get him for nothing. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Wizards got him for nothing. I think it's fishy that Trae Young said, my preferred destination is Washington. I think that translates to just get me the hell out of here. And, what is it? CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert? I know. I know. What are they going to do in Atlanta? They'll just have Chris Middleton and Trae Young will be their vets now. I don't know. This will be a weird fit on their team, too. The problem with this for the Wizards is Trae Young's going to demand time, shots, and energy. And these young Wizards, he may be in the way of blocking them from being better because he's just taking up too many shots. I don't think this is a good move for Washington. I mean, it's a good move for Trae because he finally left the Atlanta Hawks. But I don't think it's a good move for Washington. And we'll see it probably play out for the rest of the season. That players like Keshawn George and Bilal Coulibaly and Bub Carrington, they may be hurt for this move and their development as young players because Trae Young is just like that. He blocks out a lot. He's like a big shadow of the sun over the rest of the team because he has to have a lot of high usage. Maybe Washington's hoping he'll be hurt for most of the rest of the year. I don't know. Either way, man, it's funny because it obviously was so broken with Atlanta that the timeliness of this had to happen yesterday. Yesterday. It had to happen yesterday. It's a little early for a big trade like this. I'm telling you. This is not totally close to the trade deadline, and this had to happen yesterday. But yeah, you're right, James. Horrible return for him. And that's what's going to happen with a lot of these not very, not adding net positive to team winning kind of players. Yeah. LaMelo last night, to his credit, he was very important for the Hornets, but they lost still. And some of his crazy circus stuff worked at times. He is tough to stop when he's going at the basket with layups like he did at the end of the game. Some people were coming down on the Raptors already because LaMelo Ball drove to the basket and made a layup to go ahead by 2. That was stupid. Everybody's criticizing that. That's a hard person to guard in that situation. Shut up, man. You trying to tell me that we failed because LaMelo Ball got to the basket and made a circus layup? No. No, he does that. That's one of his strengths. He's one of the hardest players to guard in that situation. So I wasn't surprised that he made that layup. Not in the least. And people are already getting their knives out, sharpening them to go at the person guarding LaMelo. Who was that? Emmanuel. And I was like, okay, this is how the IQ hater's going to come at him. Well, a real easy way to get a shield up and be not getting criticized is do what Emmanuel did. And yeah, I love that. I love that so much. But yeah, people get mad at Emmanuel because he let LaMelo Ball run to the basket and make a layup. Dude, you try and guard LaMelo Ball, motherfucker. That's what I say to that, man. That's what I say to that. James is saying, Lex, I seen online that Anthony Davis wouldn't mind coming to Toronto. Thoughts? I don't care. A lot of people like coming to Toronto. Caravana, the city is vibrant. Drake, all kinds of fun stuff to do in Toronto. He can come to Toronto. He doesn't have to play for the Raptors, though. You don't have to play for the Raptors. Some people in the Raptors media scrum are putting this out, that's saying that it's realistic that the Raptors could trade for Davis because they think it would be an upgrade and it would help our team and all this stuff. Yeah, that's fool's gold. That's fool's gold. Let's just look at the track record. Let's just look at the availability. Let's just look at the glass, not the glass jaw, but the glass, ness of Anthony Davis. And you tell me if this is we're going to get Yak back. And, if we traded Yak, we get him back finally and we trade him for Davis. And all of a sudden Davis is out for the rest of the season. And we don't have any center still. No, let's wait and get Yak back and just stay pat with what we've got. If we're sitting at a 21 table, James, I'm saying hold. We don't need another card. Yeah, because we might bust if we add another card to our run in blackjack. So, yeah, James, no go. No. I've been very steadfast on this opinion about Anthony Davis. We don't need him. We don't want him. He is too much of a liability and a huge salary cap hold to be hurt the amount of time that he is hurt. So, yeah, no, it's a no-go. You know what? A lot of people in some ways want to be in Toronto now, whether it's to visit as a tourist or to try and play for the Raptors. Doesn't mean the Raptors need to help people make dreams come true. We're not John Cena. This isn't Make-A-Wish Foundation. And in some ways, we don't give a shit about what Anthony Davis wants. James is saying, I personally like Sabonis more, less injury prone. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to get anybody. Don't you feel complete? Like, seriously, this is something we should all feel in our own personal lives as a person. If you feel like incomplete as a person, stop. Don't start making things up in your head saying, oh, but I'd be so much happier if I had this aspect in my life or if I had this aspect in my life. No, you're a complete whole person as you are right now. And you don't need any of that to come in your life, just like the Raptors roster don't need any of that either. So, yeah, live happier, accept yourself and who you are completely. And then you don't feel like, oh, I need this. I'll be happier. I'll be happier if I have this job, or I'll be happier if this person's in my life, or I'll be happier if this is this. Yeah, fuck all that. Find happiness completely in your present moment now. And the Raptors, I say the same thing for their roster, Raptors fans. We're fine. Can't you see that? Can't you see that in the results? Can't you see that in the way Next Man Up worked last night when people were out all of a sudden? Yeah, I think we're fine. We don't need Sabonis or Davis. And the trade talk can die. And I wish it would die before the deadline. But I know we got a couple more weeks of this bullshit that we're going to have to sit through for, we're going to talk about it on the stream. I know people are going to bring it up, and I'll be like, yeah, we don't need anything. Let's just stop talking about this. Let's just get Yak healthy, and let's just move forward with the team we've got. It's hell. It seems like we don't even need Mo Bamba after all. It's like, oh, we all thought we needed Mo Bamba so bad. We found out the truth. Colin Murray-Boyles leveled up fast, and Scotty is like a big boy in the league now. So in some ways, we don't need Mo Bamba at this point either. Trevor J saying quickly hits the 11th buzzer beater in Raptors history, including playoffs with Gary Trent Jr. That's awesome. Yeah, and I knew this was in his bag of tricks. Like when he came to our team, that was one of the reasons why I was really excited about having Emmanuel on our team, is that I knew he was a clutch player. I knew that he's the kind of player that can hit a big shot to make us win at the end at the last second. And we saw it very clearly last night. So this is part of the reason why it's like some people will get on him for mistakes and the way he's playing, but honestly, he's tightening up his game. And Darko brought this up last night in the interview. Say, Emmanuel's going through something right now. He's playing more traditional point guard. I'm asked him to do this. And in some ways, it's not totally in his comfort zone. There was a Knicks fan who came into Raptors Reddit the other day, and he said, what did y'all do to Emmanuel? You broke him. I'm like, wait, what? What? Knicks fans are looking at Emmanuel and his play style right now, and they're saying he's not playing as crazy and aggressive as he used to. What did y'all do to him? Is what they're saying. And I'm like, well, maybe we are domesticating the wild Emmanuel quickly at this point, that he was a wild one with his style that he played in New York as a sixth man off the bench and a scorer for you guys. And he had to go all out, and he had to be super aggressive because his time on the court was short. And he had to make a big impact in the time when he was a role player on y'all's team. But now he's our starting point guard. And that's a different role. And that's a role he's still learning too. And Darko said that last night. He's like, look, Emmanuel, I'm asking Emmanuel to do things differently than he's ever done in his career. And in some ways, that's part of the weird ups and downs and maybe the perceived failures of Emmanuel by some of Raptors Nation. It's not actually really failures. It's just metamorphosis. It's just a mutation of him from being that guard that the Knicks fan recognizes to the more reined in, methodical, smart, thinking out player that he's becoming for us. In some ways, the areas he's working on are, assist to turnover ratio, on getting players involved, on being a little bit more of a facilitator and not so much a dynamic guard scoring and driving and shooting a lot. That's an adjustment. And then you add in the whole side of the other side of the ball, the defensive stuff, which he's making huge leaps and trying harder than ever on defensive end, just like his teammates, RJ and Brandon Ingram. So there's a lot on his table. And in some ways, his success has been coming even with all of this crazy change for him. His success is still coming. RJ admitted both of them shot bad last night, but they made the shots when it mattered. That's what they said. Yeah. So it's interesting. The metamorphosis of quickly is happening in front of us. And in some ways, it's happening in a lot of minutes. And in some ways, it's not always pretty. And that's why Raptors Nation sometimes will dump on him. And that's what people need to know. But, look, if he gets this more under control and he gets to more of the place where Darko wants him to be, and that's what he's doing. He's a team player. He could be selfish and say, "No, Coach Rajakovic, I'm me, bro. I don't want to be nobody but Emmanuel." He could be like that to Darko, but he's a team player and he's trying to fit to our team to be the player he should be. That's the kind of player I want on my team. Yeah. I don't want no diva. I don't want no people that are like, "Nah, I'm just me. Accept me. I'm LaMelo Ball." I don't want that shit. I want a player like Emmanuel that's smart and will adjust and grow as a player over the years. And that's what we got in him. So we need to value him. And everybody who's saying, "No, we could trade Emmanuel. We need to do this." Y'all need to shut up. First of all, everybody who talks about trades over and over again, get a life. Let's go watch the basketball. Let's watch the games. The trades are for Bobby. And in some ways, they're not often, and they're not happening all the time. Like some people talk about it so much, like it does happen all the time. No, they don't. Raptors don't trade all the time. We maybe have one or two big trades a year, and that's it. That's it. Sometimes there's only one trade a year, you know? So it's like, I don't get it. I don't know why we spend so much time speculating and talking about trades, Raptors Nation. It's not like we're the Knicks and we trade all the time or make trades like other teams all the time. No, we don't. We don't try to trade too much. That's because we're good at what we do. We get our draft picks right, and we've picked the right people to come to our team in the first place so that we don't have to make trades to fix things like Atlanta or Dallas. So, yeah, that's the way I look at it right there. That's the way I look at it. Nako's here. Good morning, Gerald. How are you today? Holding it down for us in the 905. We gave more for BI. Pelicans probably respect BI a little more. Come back soon, Brandon. Thank you, IQ. I don't even know why you got to bring that up. Seriously. All right. There's a speculation, and this is all weird slanted bullshit. All right. There's this quote that's saying that Rich Paul said that Toronto, we got more from Toronto in that situation than we would have gotten on the free agency market. Now, some people that hate the Raptors are trying to spin the perception on this that we overpaid for Brandon, that we did something that we shouldn't have done. No. Don't listen to this shit, because this is the reality. We got Brandon ahead of him becoming a free agent. Now, Rich Paul knew that the free agency in the summer was going to be less money. It has nothing to do with whether we could have gotten him for that less money or not. It has to do with two things. It had to do with asset management, unloading Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk to go that place to get a usable player, consolidate that into one good player. Now, Brandon and Rich, it's right. They got more money through getting a trade instead of going to full free agency. Because if they'd gone to full free agency, they may have found life like Gary Trent Jr. did a couple summers ago. And it'd be like, whoa, I'm not making that. So in some ways, coming to Toronto wasn't only attractive because it's a good city, a good team, and a good culture. It's also because Brandon could get established money at a level that he wanted to get at a better price. Now, people can say, whoa, why didn't the Raptors wait until he became a free agent and just try to get him then? No, because we needed to make that trade. And the Pelicans needed them to make that trade. So it worked out for everybody. So everybody trying to say that this is a fail, that the Raptors overpaid for him. Do you feel like he's overpaid right now? Do you feel like Brandon Ingram is overpaid? He's not. This is just Rich Paul being a good agent and getting his client a deal and not having to go to free agency. Now, if he goes to free agency, is a guarantee that he signs with us? No. So Bobby had to put the marker on him. And meanwhile, he's unloading Bruce Brown also. So it's good management. You get a very usable player, a top-notch player, a go-to player, a player that's one of the best scorers in the league. And so what if you get him before and some knuckleheads think, oh, we could have got him in the offseason for less as a free agent? That's bullshit, because the marker wasn't on him at that point, and we needed to make the housekeeping moves of moving those other guys to New Orleans when we got Brandon at that time. So, yeah, don't be a casual. Don't fall for subterfuge and mischaracterization that some content makers or people put out there. Our haters will say bullshit and make it sound like and spin it like we did something fucked up and we did something detrimental to our team. But that's not true. The timing was right. Rich Paul did his due diligence as an agent for his client, and he wanted to land him in the right place. And nothing we did was wrong. In some ways, we had no guarantee we'd get Brandon Ingram in free agency in the summer. And who knows? Maybe he would have been paid less then, but maybe he's playing for the Hornets instead of the Raptors. So there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. And would you get mad at Bobby and Masai for going to get Brandon Ingram at the trade deadline last year like they did? No. Look at what he's doing for us this year. So, yeah, in some ways it's people trying to make Raptors fans, gaslight Raptors fans into feel like they're failing and that their front office screwed up because they overpaid for Brandon. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. And you just got to know the full story. They'll leave out important details. That's what it is right there. That's right. That's right. Let's see. I don't think Brandon's that hurt. You know, Darko said after the game, it's a thumb injury. That's great. It's not an ankle injury. That's when you want to worry. It's like, oh, if we heard that it's that, it's a thumb injury. So Brandon Ingram's not trying to miss any of the 82 games. He'll play tomorrow. Watch. I'll bet you money. Just from my educated opinion of doing this channel for 4 years and watching the NBA for 40 years, he's probably going to play because he can tape up his thumb. If it's not broken, if it's not a really, really bad injury, he'll get out there and just run up and down the court and do cardio, even if he doesn't shoot a lot, just to make sure he plays. Trust me, because that's a big goal for Ingram this year, is to not miss any games after missing so many last year. So, yeah, I could totally see. I was so relieved to hear that it was a thumb injury. It was troubling to see our stars disappear from the game as the game went on last night. But don't worry, RJ's got us. Don't worry, RJ's got us. Jimmy's here. Love to see Jimmy in the chat. The Pope of Positivity. What are they going to say now? Say it louder for the ones in the back. Scotty haters in shambles right now. Yeah, my man Quick is a killer. That's right. That's right. That's right. Respect quickly, Raptors Nation, and stop what y'all do. Seriously, I knew this was going to happen. You know, he's going to do this a couple more times, and he's going to become a Raptors legend. Seriously, he'll become a Raptors legend just like Lowry and Van Vliet before him because he's winning and bringing winning to us. Yeah, you want a player like this on your playoff team, right? 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 Trevor's laughing. Game over. That's right. That's right. Where are the haters? That's right. Troy Henry's here. Good to see Troy Henry. Hell yeah, brothers and sisters. We're here again to talk about the boys, especially IQ. What a clutch shooter. Bucket was clean as a whistle. Yeah. No worries about that time clock with that bullshit with Brandon last week. No worries with that. That's for sure. All right. We got our first call for the day, guys. It's going to be our regular segment. It is the infamous 6. Good morning, infamous.
Good morning, Lex. You can call me Info from now on. You can just
Info?
Call me Info. You don't have to.
All right, I'm going to call you Info, the Info 6.
The Info 6. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, man. I'm very good. After a game like last night, woo-wee.
Wow, that game was an incredible game, man. I'll be honest with you. After Brandon went down and then I heard Scotty went down, I thought we were going to lose this game. I'm not going to try to pretend like, I knew the Raptors were going to win all along. You know, I honestly believe that I thought they were going to squeak. They were just going to lose by the inches in this game. But I'm so happy they pulled it off. I'm really happy that. You know what I'm happy most about?
Go ahead.
I'm happy that Emmanuel Quickly was the guy that hit.
Of course. Yeah. You
Go
know,
ahead.
that game was really close. I mean, it was 1 point. And like I said, if the referees were more fair, we would have beat them by double digits.
Oh.
And the other thing is, listen, all right, I'll talk about it while you're on the phone with me. The thing that Darko did last night that really impressed me was, all right, there was that play when they were running a pick and Khan pushed Jamal Shed into PJ Hall. You remember that play? It was a screen, and they called the foul on Jamal. This is very indicative of the bias of the refs last night and how fucked up they were. Basically, Khan pushed Jamal into him, and there was a foul. Well, Darko went nuclear. He was so ready to go off on those guys. But you know what he did? He saw the score. He saw the clock. And he said, I can't afford to give my team a technical right now. I can't afford to get thrown out of this game and get technicals and points because this game is so close. We could lose because I get a technical right now. He was ready to go nuclear. I saw him on the sideline about to yell his head off at the refs, and he even left the bench and went to the Charlotte bench yelling at the refs. And the announcers were saying he needs to get a technical for leaving his coach's box and saying all this crazy shit. You know what he did? He reined it in. He held his own emotions to help the team, and he didn't get a technical. And that could have had a huge impact on the outcome of the game in that moment. But he was smart enough to catch his own emotions in that moment and tactical enough to stop instead of go full and out like nuclear. Does that make sense? What's that?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That shows growth as a coach.
Well, I don't even know if that's growth, because that may be a move he's done in his past, back in like when he was coaching kids, back when he was in Spain, back in the G League. I think that that's just a very aware coach that understands, like, look, I could do this and just go into my anger, but I'm going to hurt the team right now. And I catch that, and I have more control over my emotions than to just lose control. You know?
Yeah, I noticed something with Darko. Like, he's very much like last year. He was very like rah rah rah, but he's more conservative now. He picks his spots. Like, I've seen a lot of growth in him, and that leads me to my stars. I'm going to quickly go through my top stars here, and of course, Quickly and RJ are interchangeable. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, Quickly hit the game-winning shot," but guess what? RJ was the one that helped to put us in that position. For Quickly to hit that shot. So I'm not looking directly at Quickly, which I'm totally happy for him. I'm so happy for him because of all the nonsense and negativity he's been taking. But I also look at RJ because RJ scored like 16 points in that quarter to put us in that position for Quickly to hit the shot. And then my next star, which would be my third, would be Colin. I think Colin is told on himself. CMB is definitely told on himself. And he may be, I don't know if they can ever remove him from that lineup.
No, he has to. And I've been arguing with people about this. Listen, I'm sick of this shit. We got Kareem in the Discord saying the same thing. I'm like, no, he's a rookie. You guys, you see these new players come in and you're like, give him everything right away. No, he's a rookie. He has to do his time and seniority right. And when Yak comes back, he goes back to the bench. And everybody calling for Colin to be in the starting lineup, just stop, please. Because
that's not what I'm calling.
Oh, I know, but there's a lot of people pushing for this right now. There's a lot of people pushing for this right now. But go ahead, Info.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely not pushing for him to start. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying is that now we know what he can do. And then when we're in particular spots, Darko could say, hey, you know what? I can count on him. Because here's the thing. His value is not in his scoring. That's what people got to understand. His value is not in – people get caught up in points and, how many points did he score? No. His value is not in his points. His value is in his IQ and being trusted on the court with our starters. So Darko is a particular situation. He could say, hey, if I need a rebound, I need defense, I can bring Colin off the bench. And he's up and down, yes, as most rookies are. But he's pretty consistent in certain categories.
This is what I said last night. I said CMB, I love his deflections and his shit disturbing and just getting fingers and steals and blocks, but I don't like his shot selection. Those are the two. That's the balance I have with him right now. I don't like his shot selection, but I do like everything he does as far as defensively and rebounding and all that kind of stuff for sure. But
his IQ is really what impresses me because you can tell
it's instinct.
It's instinct, and you can tell that the starters, Scotty and all, they love playing with him, and they're comfortable. Here's the key: it's also about comfort level. Like if you know that rookie out there has a maturity and a value, you feel more comfortable to he's going to be in the right spot, to know when to get him the ball, and know when to shift over and take the charge or play defense.
This is the thing, though. He doesn't really know that stuff you just described yet, though. He doesn't really know all that yet, what you just described. He doesn't know the right spots yet completely. He's not in the right spots all the time. He's out there doing what he's doing purely on his instinct and talent that's just coming to the league. And he's going to get refined. He's going to get better at the stuff where you just talked about. He's not actually doing that right yet.
No, he's not completely there yet, but he is in the right spot to get rebounds, though.
Yeah. Like, he's doing a good job with that right now, for sure.
Right.
Like, what was it, 15 rebounds last night?
Definitely gonna get
15. Yeah.
Yeah, and to get to the next point.
Sure.
The trade that everybody's talking about.
Okay.
Here's the thing that people got to understand. I strongly believe Atlanta did this deal because they're trying to clear cap space for a big fish.
Okay.
They're going after a big fish, and I believe the big fish is AD. I think they're
Okay.
going to try
Yeah.
desperately to try to get AD, but they need to clear cap room. Look at how much that clears off their cap, like getting Trey out of the way, right? So I think that's their next target is probably going to be AD or somebody in that realm. So if people are wondering, like, oh, what did they give up? Oh, they just gave up Trey for nothing. Here on the other side, the reason why Washington would do this deal, and the reason why Trey would want to go to Washington, Trey is in a tough position right now. He needs to rehabilitate his career. His career has taken a major hit. And what better way, similar to Brandon in a way, but it's kind of different. It's different.
It's very different.
Kind of similar. It's very different. But here's what I'm saying. You go to a team that, quote unquote, and we respect the Raptors, of course, but we're not looked at as other teams in the market, right? You go to a team, quote unquote, a smaller market team. You rehabilitate your career, right? So he's gonna go to Washington. Washington doesn't have a point guard. He's immediately going to be the number one guy. He's not playing behind anybody else, and he's going to have the freedom to show everybody, hey, either I'm a change guy or look how much points, because people are obsessed with points.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. This is what I think happens when Trae Young goes to Washington. They a lot of what you just said happens, but they're not going to be successful. They may even lose more than they've been winning so far this year with Trae around. And it won't look good. It won't look good. Because look, going to Washington is not a good thing. And it's not a showcase place for him. And it's not a place to resuscitate his career. It is not. It is not. Because he's doomed. Either he's successful and he kicks butt, but everybody says, oh, it's the Wizards. Somebody's got to do it. Or he isn't successful and it's just bad. It's a really tough position for him. And
guess what?
Yeah, go ahead.
You got to think about it. Why does he want to go to Washington? Because he probably realizes too, Washington is a team that's going to pay him.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that simple. I think it's simply this info is that Trey's options are limited at this point. And in some ways, like Hawks have been trying to trade him most of this year already, and it just got a little more ratcheted up with desperation. That like Trey's like, you know what? I don't care who I go to at this point. There's only 30 teams. It's not like he can have the pick of the litter. So in some ways, they're directing him basically where he's going, and he's saving face by saying publicly, I want to go to Washington. It's probably not true. Yeah. It's just his last opportunity. It's kind of like, well, we can't move you here. We can't move you here. They will take you in Washington, though. Yeah, I'd love to go to Washington.
Yeah. We could agree to disagree. I do think he's really trying to rehabilitate himself, and better way to do it is on a small market. If he goes to any other team, right? If you think about it this way, if he goes to any other team, he's the second fiddle. Pretty much any other team, he's pretty much the second.
Honestly,
he's not going to be the main guy.
If Washington,
he has a chance to be the main guy.
If Washington was smart, they wouldn't make him the main guy. If they were smart, because he's not the future for them, and the future is in their young guys. And like I said, and this was my original point, he could really screw up their young development. He could be in the way of some of the guys that are really talented that could be their future. And all of a sudden they want to go to other teams because Trae Young's taking their time and shots.
No, that is fair. That is a fair.
So I think this is kind of like it's a very risky move by Washington, and in some ways, I think that they were already moving the right direction. And this is an evidence where a big move may actually hurt a team instead of helping it. And I think because Washington was way better last time we saw them, they beat us. And in some ways, when we see Washington again at the end of the season with Trae Young, let's just see how easy they are to beat or how hard they are. Yeah.
You know what it could be? They could also be looking at it like trying to copy us in the sense like you take a player on lower value. I'm not comparing it to Brandon because it's completely different. I understand that. But taking a flyer on a player's value that has completely been plummeting and saying, hey, maybe we can rehabilitate him. And I think maybe that's what Washington may be looking at. If we rehabilitate him, we can recoup the value that was lost.
That's poor management right there, because that seems like you've got a lot that has to go right for you to get that to happen. And I think the weird thing's going to be, all right, what's going to happen this summer coming up with his player option? Is he taking the player option and sticking around the Wizards?
He has to.
So the Wizards are all in on him. Yeah. All right. I want to move on from Wizards freak stuff. And do you have any other subjects? Maybe Raptors. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, with the whole Darko was actually Darko was actually my 4-star.
That's awesome.
And I think, again, this shows you the trust and the belief that he has in the success of his players.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about him and the success of the team. He likes to see his team. It's not about just him. He likes to see his players succeed. And for him to draw up that play for quickly, because he could have easily said, you know what, it's going to RJ. It's going to RJ, or it's going to Scotty. You know, Scotty's our guy. We're going to put the ball in his hand, blah, blah, blah. But for him to say, hey, I'm drawing up this play for quickly, right? And I believe in him. Where everybody else dumped on him, you know, I think it's an incredible growth and move by Darko, and I give him the 4-star actually.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you that everything at the end, the play call, and the execution was just really well done. I think that I would argue that that was the best option, because we needed a 3. In some ways, you when you're on the road and you're in this situation, you don't go for 2 and tie and go into overtime. We saw what happened when we went to overtime with Charlotte. You need to go for the 3. And when you have a team shooting so poorly from 3 the whole entire game, in some ways you got to start thinking about, well, who's more streaky and who's more kind of like, I can make a shot just in an isolated spot without the context of all the shots throughout the game. Emmanuel's the best choice. I would say Scotty's not the best choice at this point, because he's moved more away from the 3-point shot and he's doing more inside, which he continued to add to last night. And then RJ, you know, his 3-point shot can be money, but in this situation, we actually saw in a game recently where he took the last shot against Denver and he did not make the 3-point shot. So so Emmanuel was the best choice.
Go ahead.
He was the best choice as far as to me. Yeah.
Correct. He was the best choice, but if you look at the play, RJ was actually used as the decoy.
Yeah. Well, he's the white. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically all I have today.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you inviting me. I appreciate you.
I'm lively today. I'm like all amped up because of what a great ending, and just like I'm still on that adrenaline like now, like 12 hours later.
Okay.
All right, Info.
And in the words of Jack Armstrong and the announcers were, I'm coming home. I'm coming.
They got to go to Boston first, and then they'll come home for Philly. All right, Infamous.
Did you get that Red Fox reference?
Oh, yeah. Wheezy. I'm coming home, Wheezy. Actually, you know what? I want to plug something real quick. On YouTube, there's a channel called Clown Jewels. And they have full episodes of the Red Fox show from the 70s, and I've been watching them recently, and they are fantastic. It's so cool to see such a comedic genius in his heyday when he was young on a sketch show that he wrote and was involved in himself. Super Dave Osborne was one of his main guys on the show too. So you see Super Dave on there with Red Fox. So yeah, check out the Red Fox show on YouTube for free on a YouTube channel called Clown Jewels. Just a little heads up for everybody. If you love Red Fox.
I love Stanford. I love Stanford's Son. It's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. Different Strokes is actually my number 1 sitcom of all time.
I know a channel you can watch those on too. The classic TV sitcom network has got Different Strokes full episodes and Stanford's and Son full episodes, along with What's Happening and Good Times too. So, yeah.
What's Happening's up there too.
Yeah. But
thank you, Lex.
You're welcome. Thank you. And let's go Raptors.
Let's go.
All right, Info 6. I love it, man. Awesome. Always love getting the call from Infamous and going over the game a little bit with him. That was awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy's saying he's not a true point guard. I'm sick of it. He's one hell of a point guard. He's learning. He's a combo guard. In some ways, you want that because he's got that power, but he doesn't have the ego that he has to be a scoring guard only. He is wanting to become more of a well-rounded PG and actually do the distribution job, along with having that gear in his utility vehicle that can kick into four by four and shoot shots and make scores himself. I mean, that sounds like uh, a dynamic and a build of an NBA player that you would want on your team. Is that he's a super talented scorer. He's very fast, change of speed guy, and he can do a lot offensively, but he's willing to sacrifice his own game and his own ego to set up other people and maybe not score as much or do as much as he could on other teams. That's the kind of player I want on my team. A guy who'll make some sacrifices, Jimmy. That's right. That's right. Raptors champs saying, Lex, what did I say? I see a win tonight. That's right, Raptors champs. See, that's the thing. I know Infamous was doubting because we saw injuries coming out and stuff. But when I watch the games, I'm always thinking the Raptors are going to win. I don't care if it's a double-digit lead for the other team. I don't care if it looks dire and we're right at the end. We do crazy stuff all the time as a franchise. We always have. And in some ways, Raptors fans, you always got to keep belief and faith, even when it seems like things are wrong. I used to live with people as roommates, and we'd watch the game, and it'd be like 6 minutes to go in the fourth, and the other team would have a 10-point lead and say, oh, the game's over. The Raptors have lost. And I'm like, man, you are the biggest casual in the world. If you think there's 6 minutes in the game and they're only down by 10, yeah, Raptors won't come back from that. I was like, oh my gosh, these guys, you can't be like this. Don't be Debbie Downers. Don't be Chicken Lillers. Don't be people that don't have faith in your team to come back and win. And this happens in the arena too, at Scotiabank Arena. The fans will be fickle about when they cheer. And if they feel like there's no realistic chance to get the team to come back and win, they'll just stop cheering for the night. I hate that. I hate that. You know, sometimes there's opportunities for us to come back and win if the fans are fully doing what they're supposed to do throughout the game without any regard to what the score and what's going on. Who knows? We could have keyed some victories in Raptors history just because the fans were not being like, oh, you have to deserve my cheering and be in a situation in the game that I find suitable for my own energy output. I hate that shit. I would be cheering the whole time, no matter what score is on the board, because you never know. You could be that spark of energy for the Toronto Raptors at Scotiabank Arena to get them back in the game, in a game that they don't seem like they have any chance to come back. So that's what I say right there, man. That's what I say. Believe in your team and have faith is what I'm saying. Kesper's here. Good to see the fact checker. Call God, call five. I love that. I love that. You know, he makes the shot. His teammates mob him with the fives, and you could hear them saying, call five, call five, call five. And Emmanuel's just like, he gets into the interview with Kayla after the game. He said, I called God. Amazing. I called Jesus. Amazing. All the glory to God. Emmanuel is just the vessel of his power. And in some ways, he's not the ego. He's not the being that did that. That was God working through Emmanuel. This is seriously, he would say that, man. He called game. That's right. That's right. Bryce is saying this. Emmanuel made me eat my words last night. I'm sorry for all the crap I've talked about him. I'm not going to deny it. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, man, you know, we can't all be like the same type of player in the NBA. You need diversity in your skills. You need diversity in your personalities. You need diversity in what you offer. And you want steady guys like Scotty. You want steady rebounders like Colin. You want a scorer like Brandon. But you need X factors and intangibles and kind of people that will come and do things in moments that you need it the most. And Emmanuel's one of those kind of guys. RJ too. And, you know, they may not be perfect all the time. They may miss shots. They may miss defensive assignments from time to time. But that's the thing. These guys are competitors. These guys are winners, and they work hard, and they're diligent, and they're just soldiers. They go out there and do what they're told, and they're not working off of their own agenda. And in some ways, we need to really respect and value that, Raptors Nation. We really, really do. Bryce, I'm glad you circled around and said this, man. Seriously, I hope that there's more people in Raptors Nation doing the same thing. And look, man, I mean, I get why you have the best interest for the Raptors. You just want them to win, and that's a good Raptors fan. That's a good Raptors fan. Blackhawks brought up the news yesterday that I don't necessarily want to bring this up right now or talk about this. You know, I would say this. The United States is showing what it truly is right now with what happened yesterday in Minneapolis, and it's good and bad. is showing that there is a Gestapo, a very Nazi-like regime in charge with President Trump at the top of it, like Hitler. And well, the people have the power, because even though that tragedy happened yesterday, thousands and thousands and thousands of people got in the streets last night, and they're going to show them who the real powerful people are in the United States by the end of this all. Watch. This year's going to be very interesting in that country below us, because it can go one of two ways. It can go face first into a full-on new Reich of Nazism and white supremacy and oligarchy led by tech giants like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, or it could be the power taken back by the people, and they get out in the streets and they show exactly who's really in fucking charge. And I'm hoping the second one is what's going to happen by the end of the year, that the power of the people will be shown in the muscle. Because look, that is where the true power lies. It's all the other power of all of the other stuff is a illusion. And in the end, the people have the power. That is just the truth. And they will get what they want. And if they outrage the people enough, they will get hurt badly. So walk that line, MAGA, and your bullshit. You piss off enough people, you will get destroyed. And you should get destroyed, honestly. So yeah, that's where I see that with that. In some ways, I don't really want the political detours right now, Neil. We can all watch the news. We can all see. And I hope that most of us have the same opinion on what happened yesterday. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep going. Bryce is saying this. I'm just now seeing that video and I just hate it here, honestly. See, that's the thing. Bryce is a young man who just got engaged to his fiance last year. He wants to have a good life in America, in Kentucky. And, it's messed up, man. It's absolutely messed up. This is not American ideals. This is not American democracy. And the people that are true Americans are the ones that hit the streets last night in protest of that murder by that ICE agent doing that to that woman named Good. And that's symbolic in itself. This woman is not a protester. This woman is not an activist. This is a woman who was just trying to drive on a street, and she got scared by ICE agents. So she hit a little bit of the gas and the dude shot her 3 times in the face. So you tell me, once again, police are not allowed to shoot you just because you do not comply with them. That is not the law. That is not the law. And anybody trying to say, oh, if you don't comply with us, we're allowed to shoot you, that is bullshit. Her car was not going anywhere near to hit him. He was not in danger of his life. He shot her in cold-blooded murder. And that's just the damn truth right there. That's right, man. Abolish ICE. That's right, guys. That's right. That's right. G saying, what are they going to say now, Scotty, for IQ? That's right. That's right. These guys all go through it at different times. Scotty slander, IQ slander, RJ slander, Jakob slander. The slander comes around for everybody at some point because everybody's human and they're going to have ups and downs in the biorhythm of their game. And fans just want perfection. Fans are idiots. Fans are casuals. Fans are immature. Fans are not realistic about the NBA game. And well, the formula to win Larry O'Brien's, I understand it. And let me just say, that little part of the formula that has IQ in it, that's a good part of the formula to get towards the second Larry O'Brien for the Toronto Raptors. If you could see what I saw last night. That's right. That's right. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Refs tried their best, but we beat the usual 8 versus 5. It's not usual, but it is coming around more frequently this year because we're more powerful, and the refs are trying to govern us and hold us down. In some ways, we're going off script once again. When we won the 2019 championship, that was not in the NBA script. And well, to be Toronto's success, we have to go off script because the NBA don't want this. And in some ways, they'll send Barnecki and Torodowski to Charlotte to try and manipulate the game against us and help the Charlotte Hornets and prop them up. And we can, this is the amazing thing is the Raptors can shoot such horrible field goal percentage and still pull off these games. That's a testament to our coach and our defense. Because seriously, it's kind of like what they said last night. Look, you guys play so hard on defense, but you're missing all your shots. How do you keep up for that? Because I know a lot of teams that I played on in basketball in the past and games I've seen on NBA at times, when a team's bad at shooting, they don't give effort on defense. They kind of just suck on both ends, right? So why are we doing this? It's because of our coach. It's because, look, as the announcer said last night, just because the Raptors miss shots. Are they giving up on defense? Are they stop playing defense? No, it's a given. They're right back into the defense at the other end, even if they miss all their threes. That's crazy, honestly. In some ways, that's psychopathic because it's like, oh, you should be feeling sad because you guys can't make any shots. But no, we're going to be crazy and play full out on defense and play perfect defense still. That's a really, really weird combination in the history of the NBA because most teams that don't shoot well don't try on defense either. It's really weird. Like the Raptors have weird stats right now with very futile shooting and success. It's crazy. We shoot so bad, but we still win games. It's amazing, honestly. Let's do the stars of the game real quick. My number one star is Emmanuel, no doubt. No doubt. That shot is the win right there. 33 minutes for Manny, 21 points on 8 of 18 shooting. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's suitable. It's all right. 8 of 18 is not totally horrible. Not totally horrible. 3 of 11 from 3. And man, one of those was so important. 2 of 4 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, and 1 steal, a +3. The shot is all that matters, guys. Wipe all the things that you thought Emmanuel did wrong for the whole entire game until that last 1.6. And that's all that matters because that's the game. That's the fucking game right there. And that's the big kahunas to make that shot and take that shot right there. Second star of the game is RJ, Mr. Fourth Quarter. 16 points in the fourth quarter. Amazing. Amazing. 35 minutes, 28 points overall, 12 of 25. His shooting percentage was horrible for most of the game. He was like 4 for 16 at one point, I think, almost. And then at the end, he's 12 of 25. So he turned it on. He started making everything at the end of the game. And I knew he would do this. I knew it. Like, these guys are gone. RJ's not letting our team slide, and he will carry us. And he did. 1 for 7 from 3. Yeah, he was talking about that after the game. He's like, oh, I only made 1 3. That's really bad. That's really bad. But he made it in the fourth when it mattered, and we're trying to catch back up. 3 for 5 at the free throw line. Yeah, the free throws are still kind of a journey with RJ. 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, 1 steal, a -1. Yeah, man, he's just a real one, man. I feel so lucky that we got RJ on our team right now. And I hope that never changes, man. He's such a heart and soul and just so many different things he's doing for our team. And our record with RJ this year is really impressive. Like, you know, the stuff with Yak in the last couple of years, whether Yak's in or out, the records is very telling as far as the impact of Pirtle on our team. But it's the same thing for RJ. We have won like 11 of our last 12 games that RJ's played. That says a lot right there, guys. That says a lot right there. Let's see. I think that stat's right. It may not be. My third star of the game last night is Sandro. I thought Sandro was very good off the bench last night. 25 minutes, 10 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal, a +10. So he was the highest plus minus on the team. So he was out there when we were doing our best against Charlotte. You know, Diabate, he's annoying. He straight up punked Scotty at one point, stole the ball and dunked it in the fourth quarter. And, you know, there was a lot of crazy stuff. RJ was funny. He knows Musa from back in the day. And he told him basically, like, if you block me again, I'm going to have to fight you. Because apparently he knew Musa from Montverde. And Sandro was there too. And Musa was younger than them, and he came from nowhere. And like apparently RJ gave him shoes or something. He said, here's some shoes. And Musa Diabate wore these shoes that RJ gave him. So there's a lot of friendship and a lot of good feelings, but playful, funny, competitive feelings. And can you imagine RJ telling Musa in the middle of the game, you block me again, I'm gonna fight you? I love that, man. That's a competitor. But yeah, Sandro was a big part of when things were going right on the court for us last night. And really, you know what it is? Sandro's just always moving. He's always moving. This guy's never taking time off or being lazy. He is always working somehow, some way for the Raptors out there, whether it's physical with getting position, whether it's running up and down the court. There's always something Sandro's doing to be helpful to the Raptors when he's on the court. My fourth star of the game is Murray-Boyles. Murray-Boyles got another start last night. And, listen, I'm not going to deny that Colin's going to be a starter in this league. In some ways, he could maybe start for us already, but I think that we don't need to push aside our great starters that we already have right now in a rush just to expedite Colin Murray-Boyles' career. I know there's going to be a strong contingency in Raptors Nation that's going to advocate for Colin Murray-Boyles to start for the rest of the season. I want to kind of dissuade people from holding so hard and fast to this idea because honestly, we are a better team when Jakob is out there because he takes care of the big guys. And when we go on this West Coast road trip near the end of this month, he's going to pay off then. You guys are going to see this. Once again, listen to me ahead of time and you will see what I'm talking about in the future because I am a future teller, obviously, because I'm predicting shit like Emmanuel last night. Jakob's going to come back. He could be back for Friday against Boston, and he's going to be especially useful, especially if Embiid's around this weekend when we play Philly. And also when we go out west and we have to play teams like the Clippers and teams like that have bigs. So he'll pay off then. In some ways, Murray-Boyles could get exposed in some of these games that are coming up against a true center who's actually a very dominant big center like Joel or Ivica Zubac. So I would just say, yeah, he looks good in some ways against some Eastern teams that are smaller, especially the Hornets without Kalkbrenner. But in some ways, don't get ahead of yourself and just say, oh, he's this and this and this already. He's still a rookie. And like I said to Infamous, he's still figuring out a lot of things. It's crazy. He's so successful already because he really isn't polished in a lot of different ways, whether he's built up physically more and more, he's going to get stronger. And then also his IQ and awareness with his instinct is going to get even better, guys. I'm telling you right now. In some ways, him and Scotty have a lot in common in these departments. So, yeah, Colin, 32 minutes, 4 points, only 1 of 3 from the field, missed his only 3. Like I said, his shot selection is dubious to me. There was a time where he had a mid-range shot on the baseline that he chose to take, even though he had a driving lane where he could have gone to the basket. And I don't think Colin taking threes and clutch times late in games, like the other game the other day, is a good shot selection at that point in the game. In some ways, like I said, this guy's a garbage man this year. He's a get out there and be active and energetic, be a shit disturber, get your hand into things. You see him sometimes he'll just put his hand up and the ball's coming over his head and he popped it up in the air and it's loose and all of a sudden we got the ball. You know, that kind of stuff. But no plays run for him, no over usage on offense. Just let him concentrate on rebounds, defensive positioning, and being a shit disturber because he's having a real winning impact from doing that kind of stuff. 15 rebounds, 9 of them defensive, 6 of them offensive. And on the Charlotte feed, the Charlotte announcers were like, Colin with another rebound. I feel like a broken record. 2 turnovers also. 1 turnover for him, 3 assists, and a steal for Colin, a +2. My last star of the game for the game last night is Jamal Shed. Off the bench, Jamal Shed had a +8. He only had 4 points, but he was really important for the team to do certain things on the bench to carry. All right, we're getting the call from Alberta, guys. Let's see. We got 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. Hello. Good morning, Seymour.
Yo. In the warehouse putting up some shots. You know how it goes.
I hear the ball bouncing, man.
Yeah, I was just doing my thing. 4 quarters. Let's get to it.
All right, first quarter. Let's go, Seymour.
I just want one thing, because we're not, like you said, we're not harping in on no Hawks freak and all that stuff, but just want to say that we seen that he was going to go to Washington. Because remember when in the message, I messaged you yesterday and he was making fun. You're like, what are they going to have? Trade this and trade that and trade on. Remember? Do you remember that yesterday?
Kind of. What did I say about Trae Young going to the Wizards?
We were talking about Trae Young going to the Wizards, and I said that backcourt is going to have a deep range, and they're going to be quick with Trey Johnson and Trae Young.
Oh, yeah, the trays. Yeah, I said they're collecting trays or something like that. I made some goofy wordplay. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not a big Trae Young fan. I feel like you guys have affinity for him and you want to see him succeed. I don't care. I really don't care if he like fades away from the league at this point, honestly. So I'm gonna have a weird tainted opinion on him.
That's fair, because he's not a winning player in my eyes. He's more for entertainment. You know, it's a lot of that role of what Jordan Poole did for Washington, just trick shots and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I don't think he makes them any better. I don't think he makes them any worse. They're just a team that's hovering around. But at the same time, too, we need to put respect on all the teams. A lot of people going around saying this team's garbage. It's the pros is the pros. To just be in the league itself is
sure
an accomplishment. And like we seen it this year, like we lost. If you would have said to anybody in the summer before this season, said, we're going to lose a game to Charlotte or 2 games to Charlotte, or they'd be like, you're on drugs. You know what I'm saying? So,
or they'd be upset, and they were.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the bottom feeding teams, they're coming up. They're coming up.
I mean, that's the whole point of the NBA. It's like, what, you're trying to just stay down there? No, you're trying to improve. You're trying to improve. Trae Young, getting back to him for a second, I just want to say real quick, I feel like his player build and the way he plays is very indicative of the 2010s. I feel like in some ways his era is over. Like, because in some ways he's a very self-centered kind of player that worked more in the systems of the superstar 2010s that LeBron and KD kind of symbolize. And that the era now in the middle of the 2020s now is more team-oriented. And because of the salary cap, these kind of players are getting exposed more and more. And they're not as useful as they are in this decade as they were last decade. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Do you see that draft class being overrated? Because now when you look at it, right, you had Luka from that draft class, you had Trae from that draft class, and they could have went to opposite teams. Like Atlanta could have took Luka and Dallas could have took
They
Trae,
traded
right?
them. They traded them.
Right. And now they're both traded from the respectable clubs in different situations. Do you see that draft class was maybe overrated and those are not franchise piece players?
No, I think that they were, and they were for most, and Luka still is. I don't know if Trae is still. Trae was a franchise player for a long time for Atlanta, but it just didn't work out. And in some ways, the results of it not working out prove that he isn't. Now, Luka, the trade for Luka, that should never happen. He should still be a Dallas Maverick right now if the NBA had manipulated that for interest. And, I could have seen Luka still going forward with the Mavs if the NBA hadn't had this whole Lakers thing go on and happen, stuff like that. So it's a little different. But that draft class, I won't diminish it. That was a good draft class. That was good draft class. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man got traded for a bag of chips and CJ and Kispert. That's crazy. So, would you say this was the worst return for an all-star? Like, of all trades that we're seeing an all-star caliber player being traded, would you say this was the worst return?
No.
Atlanta got back?
No, Vince Carter.
Ooh, that one's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's the worst return ever for a huge all-star, really good player at the peak of what they're doing is the trade that we got with Rob Babcock with New Jersey. Yeah, nothing's ever going to beat that as far as in my eyes.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep.
Because, CJ McCollum can go out there and get you 25 still. Corey Kispert's a decent player off the bench. We got 2 guys named Williams and a failed kidney and Alonzo Mourning.
So, okay, seeing where Pascal's game is right now and Fred's game and OG's game, whose game are you most impressed with? I'm not talking about like their team records and this and that. Like, whose game impresses you the most between those 3 and where they're at right now in their careers and stuff?
Which ones? You saying Pascal, OG, and Fred, or Pascal, OG, and Norm?
You can even throw Norm in there too.
Put all 4 of them? I think it's Norman, honestly. If you're going to say this, Norman's impressing me the most out of all the former champion Raptors and his place and what he's doing, because this is the thing. He got traded earlier than those guys. He went to Portland, and in some ways that had him reeling. He never wanted to leave Toronto. He made the best of his situation in Portland and parlayed it into the Clippers, and he thrived on the Clippers in a place where a lot of guys are going and just kind of collecting checks and not doing jack shit. And then they discarded him. And where has he gone? He's gone to Miami. He's thrived there also. So in some ways, Norman's had to do it in 3 different places since the Raptors. He's been successful at all 3 places. And honestly, he's playing the best basketball of his entire career this year for the Miami Heat, and he just keeps getting better. Siakam has gotten better too, and he's gotten more veteran and doing the things he does for the Pacers. And OG is having new success with the Knicks. But this is different what's happening with Norman, because in some ways, those guys in some ways could have been projected to be more in that level. And Norman, in some ways, is still rising as a player in this league. Freddie also, same thing. He went above and beyond, but we know Fred's path is arced up and is a little bit kind of going this way afterwards. But Norman's still going up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, you know when Pascal and all them won was it the Summer League they won, or it was the Summer League?
They won the G League championship.
Okay, they won the G League. So, okay, if you were to take that team and put them against our bench mob of Jacoby and Shad, who you got winning that game in the game of 21?
Well, the old Raptors for sure.
You're going with the old Raptors?
Yeah, because they're champions, and even when they were on the G League team, they were really crazy good. I would rather you ask me, would you take that 2017 Raptors 905 championship team led by Jerry Stackhouse, and you go against this year's G League team with Andrew Jones? Who would win?
Okay, who you going with that one?
That's tough because honestly, the story with Andrew Jones's team this year is still being told. And we have to see what they do by the end of it. But they have a record that's better than any G League Raptors 905 team ever. I think they have the best G League record ever in the history of the G League right now. You realize they're like 20-2 right now, right?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I've been sleeping on the G League
905. Well, you should watch them with us tonight. They're going to be on at 7:30 tonight, and they'll be playing Indiana's G League team again. And they're just a joy to watch. Like they're a lot of fun because they're a real team. They have real role players and different kind of guys. They have depth and they're all bought in. And just like how the Raptors play really good defense and they're really bought in as a team on defense, they are on G League too. So it's really a joy to watch them. You should. And you get to see Patrick McCaw, former Raptors champion from 2019 too. So.
Yeah, he's a baller.
All right, let's do third quarter.
What's your take on Brandon? Is it Brandon Jennings? I think it is Brandon Jennings.
Brandon Miller?
The one who played for the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, Jennings? That's a long time ago. He hadn't been in the league in like forever.
What's your take on him saying that Canadian players are getting too much hype and that we're weak? You just got to bounce them. And once you put a pop on them, they sort of fall back. So he's saying that we're soft.
That's rich coming from a guy that got bounced out of the league earlier than he should have, because honestly, he didn't have a full NBA career. So that's real rich coming from a guy like him. Plus, he wasn't all that and tough and stuff. He was a skinny guy. He was a scorer, and he got thrown around. I wonder, did he ever get a chance to play against RJ Barrett? He could find out how soft RJ is when he comes at him in the lane. Yeah, this just sounds like casual. This just sounds like xenophobia bullshit from a person like Austin Rivers or Gilbert Arenas kind of bullshit. Brandon Jennings was not a successful NBA player. Let's just put it that way. He found his way out the league faster than he should have.
Yeah, him, OJ Mayo. There was a lot of knuckleheads on that team.
Yeah.
Team.
He's a scorer. He could score, but he didn't play no defense, and he wasn't very useful otherwise. He's that kind of player that's absolutely very talented as an individual, but in some ways he didn't add up to wins.
Interesting.
Fourth quarter.
All right, I got one to throw at you right now. Who are you going with Kenyon Martin or Draymond? They had a 1v1. Who are you going with?
What, they're going to play each other now? Like at their age right now?
If they were in their prime. If they were going 1v1 in their prime, who you take?
Well, what do you know, I'm biased against Draymond. I'll pick Kenyon Martin to kill him. I mean, easy. Because, like, look, all right, Kenyon Martin, and I remember Kenyon Martin Sr. very well from when he played in the league because I was watching very intensely. That man was fierce. That man was scary. He was one of the most feared players in the league. When you were going up against the Nets, when he played for them, you had to worry about his intensity. You had to worry about his wrath. You had to worry about him mean mugging and coming at you with aggression. And Draymond's, I get it. He's a defensive genius or goon, if you want to call it that. I think that Draymond doesn't have the offensive chops to keep up with him, because I think that Kenyon Martin could guard him. And Draymond, as good as he is as a guarding guy, I think Kenyon would be able to beat him still offensively and still win that. Because we got to remember, Kenyon Martin is not He is an all-star. He played at an all-star level for a few years in New Jersey and Denver and other places. So, yeah, we people forget who he was.
He's not that much better offensive player than Draymond though. Because like Kenyon couldn't put, like when he put the ball on the floor, you can see he didn't know how to dribble, stuff like that. He was just more like you said, a goon, a high flying goon, hit the backboard. And you're right. If you're going in the lane, he had that Oakley type of you're getting slapped. He's a dirty player. You're getting slapped.
You're talking about Draymond.
Draymond and Kenyon.
No. Kenyon Martin was more intimidator. He was physical. Let's not get it wrong, but I wouldn't call him dirty. He was just scary. I wouldn't call him dirty. I mean, he was physical. And I think that you're not giving him enough credit. I mean, he averaged over 20 points a couple seasons, right?
In New Jersey there?
Yeah. Yeah, he was the man. He wasn't like a role player. He was the guy. Like, he was the dude carrying the team. He was more like not Steph, but, Draymond's more a role player to me. And I actually, when you originally asked that question just now, Seymour, I thought you were asking me if they played right now, who would beat each other in one-on-one. And I was willing to almost say, I don't know how good a shape is Kenyon in still right now.
Yeah, he's still in shape. He still can go. You can see it because guys like him, Joe Johnson, they can still play in that Ice Cube league, right? That league. So yeah.
And plus,
funny though. He makes me laugh, man. The dude makes
the other thing is like Kenyon Martin is going on these podcasts and he's on shows with like Gilbert and other people, and he's like the only voice of reason. He seems like the only one that knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, the other dudes were just not guys that you want in your system, like Nick Young and guys like that. There was just you can just see him and Gilbert were just clowns with their money.
Yeah, they weren't serious of their NBA careers, and they weren't totally serious in just life. But Kenyon Martin was. Let's just put it that way. All right, do you have an overtime, or do we want to close it up?
One last thing I want to run by you. That dude, he was in our program, Champagne.
Okay, yeah.
He's over in Washington right now. What's your thoughts on this guy? Because I remember at one point you didn't like him. You wanted him to go when he was on our team because he was talking about son this.
Yeah. I was really I felt like that was unprofessional. And I think, honestly, that was part of the problem that Fred was having with the team at that time. Is because Fred, he came up with Kyle and DeMar as his leaders. And in some ways, he saw that he was supposed to be the leader for the young guys coming up because he was graduating into that with Pascal and all those guys. And the problem was that Scotty's rookie class, they were clowns. And in some ways, they were not respecting the game and how to be as rookies. In fact, Fred was quoted as saying some of these guys are immature. And that's what I saw. I saw Delano and Justin being very immature. And I was worried about, the effect with Scotty and him being on the team. Because in some ways, I only cared about Scotty. I love Delano and I want Delano to work out too. But that was a symbol of immaturity and it was not necessary. In fact, it really pissed me off the most when Jeff Doughton Jr. got a game where he was absolutely the game player of the game, and he had not gotten a lot of credit for some of the things he'd done around the Raptors, and Justin came in and ruined his post-game interview by demoralizing him and saying, "You're my son," to Jeff Doughton. So why would you wonder I wasn't like a big fan of Justin Champagnie? Because he rained on Jeff Doughton's moment in the sun, an interview to get recognition, and he came out and did this dumb little game that they were playing at that time.
Yeah,
so
very, very unprofessional.
That's why I was like, get this guy off the fucking team. It was, I mean, I like the way he offensive rebound. I liked his fight on the court, but the stuff on the outside was like, this is not professional. And I'm pretty sure that that's who Fred was talking about when he said these guys are immature that just came to our team. And it's not, a lot of people inferred just because Scotty was the main rookie that it was Scotty. But I think that Fred was talking about Delano and Justin when he said that.
Interesting. So, Scotty looks way more locked in now. Like, you can see it in these games. You can see it. He's locked in.
Ultimate team player. And I was really worried. I'm like, holy crap, where is he? He's not on the bench. When I noticed these guys were missing shifts all of a sudden, it's like all of a sudden, because this whole year, we pretty much always had either Scotty or Brandon on the court at all times. Either Scotty or Brandon is out there at all times. And there was times last night where we saw lineups without even RJ or Emmanuel out there. It was like a straight bench lineup with a Mamu and the Jayhawks and Shed and Jacoby. We're running lineups like that last night, and that was scary. But it also was good because this was kind of more like last year where Grady and Oshai had to take bigger roles and try and step up and do things to help the team in the absence of guys because they're hurt. So there was some positives to Brandon leaving the game because there was some room to breathe for some of the bench guys. And at some points in the game last night, Grady was actually the number one option on the court, even though he didn't really take advantage of that and go crazy and score a lot, which was interesting to me. So, yeah.
You say you want the team to stay the way it is right now? Like,
yeah.
Just wait on Jakob to come back and go forward like that?
Yeah. I don't see us. I mean, unless Bobby and his astuteness and knowing what's realistic and what he sees out there can see like a dramatic improvement in a move that he can make, I don't see why we would need to do this. I often tout that like sometimes it's better to just stand pat with what you got because that's the known. And if you bring in a new guy, that's an unknown. And you don't know what they might bring. They could bring good, but they could also bring toxic. They could also bring messing up the balance. And the balance of the team right now is really good. And it's not totally easy to do when you have such high caliber players like Brandon, Scotty, RJ, and Emmanuel, because egos have to be checked at the door and people have to know their role. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's deep.
Yeah. Because like all these Raptors fans want to build an all-star team like their fantasy league. But that's not necessarily realistic because people have egos and want shots and they want touches. So you got to find the right mix. And RJ being so unselfish is a huge part of why this is working right now.
So hold on before I get up out of here.
Yeah.
So if let's say we stick it out with what we got, right? Going into the playoffs, who you don't want to see in the playoffs? Because we're most likely going to have either the Knicks, Detroit, who else is up in there? Philly, Cleveland. Well, so which team don't you want to see? Which team are you looking forward to playing the playoffs?
Let me look at the standings right now, and we'll actually go by who we would play in the first round. We're in the 4th seed right now with home court advantage. We would play Philadelphia in the first round right now.
Ooh. That'd be a tough first round.
Well, it would be a revisit to the last time we were in the playoffs, and we owe them something. And once again, I would say, where's Nick Nurse's team going to be by the end of the year with their health and, Big Dummy? So that's a lot of it right there. It could actually be a fantastic first round series for us because they're beat up and they're not ready for us, and we kick their ass and we get some revenge for the last time we played them in the first round. So. Yeah, I feel confident playing the Sixers this year if we played them in the first round of the playoffs.
That would be a great series, very entertaining story.
Oh yeah, a lot of history. It's an arch enemy. There's a lot of drama and there's a lot to it, especially with our former coach heading their team and our guy Darko with our team. Yep.
Alvin would be pumped up for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'd all be, and especially if Lowry's still around too, he'll be sitting on the other bench. So.
Sure, but like I said, make sure you save a spot on the floor or the couch for me because I am coming for a playoff game.
For sure. Get it organized and come. And like I said, that's that Keon Clark jersey that's behind me right there, that purple 7, that's yours if you show up, man.
All right, cool.
All right, Sheriff, the City Slicker calling in with the 4 quarters segment. I appreciate your questions, and I appreciate being able to conversate with you today. And
always.
Yeah, may all your shots fall in the warehouse.
All right, peace, yo.
You got some trick shots in there? Are you shooting off the wall and doing weird stuff? Like, I was shooting off here. Oh, he's out. Awesome, man. That's awesome, man. All right, let's see. Fiercey saying beating the adversity. It was awesome. IQ haters, how y'all feeling today? I know. I love that. I love that so much. Going over the box score a little bit more deeply. Scotty Barnes, 29 minutes, 17 points, 6 of 14, missed both his threes. That's why you don't have him shooting the threes at the end. 5 for 6 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block, a -2. It's a subpar performance by Scott from what we've been getting recently, but it is contributing. And the fact that only 4 Raptors got double digits, the 17 points by Scotty were absolutely essential to win. And I like the work that Scott's doing is he's very aggressive and dominating to get his baskets. Like he's pushing people around and he's getting to very high percentage shots. So man, the way Scott's playing right now is just so good. And the Raptors have a really bright future with this new Scotty and a Colin Murray-Boyles in development coming up too. I'm telling you, Brandon in 11 minutes, just 6 points. He didn't really get started. 2 for 7, missed both his threes, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, 3 blocks though. Brandon was active on the blocks early, which was cool. A -5. But yeah, only 11 minutes of Brandon, and we won by 1. That's fantastic. Jamison Battle, 8 minutes. He got the 8 minutes because Brandon was out. So when Brandon went out, Jamison got in the game. He probably wouldn't have played in the game if Ingram had not gone out with the thumb injury. 1 for 2 for Jamison. He missed his only 3 with a rebound, a +1. Oshai, limited minutes last night, 12 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting, 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers, -12. He didn't have the best stint early, but he did do some stuff to help us later in the second half. I was doing sheds already. He got 6 assists with 0 turnovers, which is absolutely fantastic. And because there wasn't a whole, I didn't want to give Scotty a star because I felt like it was kind of a subpar game for him. And, granted, he did miss a huge chunk of time that he would normally play in the fourth quarter. But I wanted to recognize Shed for his bench leadership. Jacoby, 19 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 4. All 3-point shots, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers, a +1. Really not chipping in a whole lot there. And then Grady, 0 points in 12 minutes, but he did get a rebound. That's pretty much it. It's interesting because if you told me that the Raptors could shoot 7 of 34 from 3, shoot 41% overall in the game, have only 21 bench points. I think that's right. 21. Yeah, 21 bench points. And have only 4 guys in double digits, lose Scotty for a chunk of the fourth, lose Brandon for the game, have the referees against you, be on the road against the Hornets, and still win by 1 point. I would have told you, man, that's a tall order, and that's a tough one. That's like Indiana Jones getting out of that temple and grabbing his hat before the door slams down on his hand. Like, that's how close this game was to being a different outcome. And you can thank Emmanuel, you can thank Darko, you can thank RJ, and you can thank the Toronto Raptors culture and the team we built with Bobby Webster. So I'm just saying, man, there's a lot to that, On the other side, let's give some shine to, the Hornets didn't play super well either, but, it was just enough for them. On the other side, Colin Sexton, the leading scorer with 22 points off the bench, 7 of 13. He's annoying. Very annoying player. But yeah, LaMelo, 7 of 20. That's horrible shooting. Con Knipple, 4 of 17. Horrible shooting once again. And that's really, really huge to help us win. Miles Bridges didn't really get going. He's been a Raptor killer this year. Thank God he was somewhat contained. And that was Scotty, Colin, and RJ holding him down to a degree. Let's do the team stats real quick while I'm on the box score. Let's see. As I said, we shot just barely better than them, 41%. 7 of 34 from 3 is just horrible, man. Absolutely dreadful. We did shoot not as good at free throws either, 74% with 5 missed free throws. We did get out rebounded, 50 to 42. Assist to turnover ratio. This is interesting. They had more assists than us, but we only had 6 turnovers last night. That's another key reason why we won is we took care of the ball despite missing so much, despite not really playing well. We did take care of the ball right and only had 6 turnovers with 18 assists. That's a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio on a small scale, which is interesting. Points in the paint is the key stat the last few games. Dominated 60 to 36. And that's really the Raptors not settling for lazy 3-point shots and actually working it into the lane. Hello, RJ's back. And also Scotty rededicating to doing more to take it inside. And that's a big, huge part of it right there. So good job, Raptors, finding a way to win in a seemingly impossible game to win. Seriously, in some ways you could describe that as this 8 versus 5. You're missing 2 of your top superstars. And, your bench isn't doing a whole lot to help you. Yeah, this is crazy. You're not making threes. You're out rebounded. This is crazy. This is crazy they won this game. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Blackhawks saying terrible. Did you say that like Charles Barkley? IQ, glad IQ got the chain. I will say for resiliency and keep shooting, but RJ was more deserving as he played his heart out in the fourth. Yeah, but we don't win without IQ shot. And, RJ has no ego in this. It's like he knows that Emmanuel deserved this chain. We all know he deserved this chain. Yeah, we don't win the game without RJ either. You're exactly right on that. But the key shot, the big shot, the second shot that made us win was Emmanuel. And that's why. RJ had to get him there, though. You're right. You're right. Kesper is saying every fan and media creator online, especially on Twitter, was rioting all night throughout the game, whether about how we played or crying about the trade. The full moon was out last night. It actually wasn't. It was out last Saturday morning was when the full moon was out. But we did have a full moon recently. That is true. I do pay attention to this stuff because I do feel like it does have an influence on life in general when you have that. So, yeah, interesting, Caspera. Yeah, it's crazy. People do get out of pocket. And, I'm glad the Trae Young distraction was out there. I'm loving all the reposts of Emmanuel's shot on NBA and NBA Canada in different places. And I love seeing the comments from general NBA fans of other fan bases saying, oh, wow. And you're seeing in those comment sections a little bit more last night. Wow, the Raptors are actually building something scary right now. You're seeing other fans see Emmanuel hit the shot and knowing that Brandon's here and Scotty's elevating, people are starting to worry about us and other fan nations. And they're putting it in comments. Whoa, actually, the Raptors are good this year. I was totally wrong. You're seeing a lot of that all of a sudden from neutral fans or fans that hate us or fans that are just general NBA fans or fans of other teams. They're starting to come around and realize this because that highlight last night got put around the NBA. And it's a little bit like, hello, yeah, recognize the Raptors are a legitimate Eastern team. And if y'all thought we were falling in the play-in, you may need to reconsider what you think is going to happen, is what I'm saying right there. Yeah. G saying RJ has a Raptor heart. That man is tough. He's a real one, man. He's such a real one for us in our country, in our city, in our team. And there's so much respect we need to give that. Seriously. I tried to tell people across this country, because some people, other fans in other cities of the Raptors, they don't respect RJ's place on our team and how valuable he is because they don't get it. In some ways, there are people in Canada that are absolutely patriotic Canadians that love Toronto Raptors, but they don't necessarily like the city of Toronto. And in some ways, they're the ones who don't get this completely. I do. I was born right downtown in the middle of Toronto, downtown. And I feel this passion and this connection to this city like RJ does. That's why when I see it in him, I recognize it so easily because it's inside me too. So, and I know a lot of y'all are the same that are from the city and around the GTA, that you're like us too. And well, SGA is too also, guys, just so you know. Yeah, Jimmy saying, seeing LaMelo and Sexton acting like they won the game made me laugh. Game ain't over till it's over. Hold that L. That's right, Lenny Kravitz. So many tears they cried, so much pain inside. Because you know what, Hornets? It ain't over till it's over. Yeah, Lenny Kravitz. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Y'all celebrate. Y'all go ahead and go get crazy. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, we'll smash your dreams. Those Hornets fans, they were feeling really good. They were partying. They were having a good time. Yeah, right up until the end. That's right. That's right. Kesper is saying, but think about it this way. Every good team has a psychotic fan base. It's just a reality of social media. Lakers, Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, if we're attracting flaky psychos, it means we're getting good. No, I really do believe this. Like, Kesper, I've realized over the years that when the Raptors are starting to get in a good place and they're doing very well, the trade talks intensify. That outside forces start bringing up Anthony Davis and Trae Young for the Raptors because they want to screw us up by making a trade. It's gaslighting. They make Raptors fans feel like we need to make a trade because it's like some of them are real NBA sources, like Bleacher Report, and they'll put something out. The Raptors can make this Anthony Davis trade and they can fix themselves. What if we don't need fixing? What if general Raptor fans are being misled to think we need a trade and we don't actually need a trade? I've realized this in the past when the Raptors start getting things good, other teams and other people and other media sources will confuse things and their intensity will intensify when we're getting closer and closer to being better. And this is the phenomena. You've got it exactly right. We attract these things when we are successful. You're exactly right on this, Kesper. Exactly right. Fiercely saying this. Glad we got the win, but man, we need to work on these 3-pointers. I mean, what? It's just cool. What if we start making them in the playoffs and then we're just unstoppable? Because we did all the other things to win without 3-pointers, and then all of a sudden we're making 3-pointers. Oh my gosh. The Raptors could be so good. I believe in my team. We've got this. Keep working hard and pushing. I hope BI won't be out too long. Are they doing x-rays? Yeah, they came back negative last night after the game. He wasn't in the team photo, or wait, yeah, he was in the team photo after the game. He was in the team photo. We did see his head kind of in the back over somebody's shoulder. I don't know why he didn't come back out to the bench to sit to watch the rest of the game, but he was in the back getting evaluated, and it's his thumb. It's not his ankle, which is probably the most important thing right there. And, depending on which thumb it is, which hand, it may not really stop him or slow him down or anything or make him miss any time. We'll have to see. I know, once again, I'll say this. It's very important to Brandon to be available and make games. He's not trying to DMP. So if he's able to play, he will play on Friday against Boston. He will not be sidelining and taking an easy pass. Oh, you hurt your thumb. Oh, poor baby. You want to sit out next game? Hell no. If I can play, coach, let me play. Dr. Alex is what he's saying right now. That's right. Kesper's saying, hence, why them little kids want us to trade for mythical superhero players. I know. It's not realistic. There's so much because of video games and fantasy teams and sports betting that people get all kinds of weird opinions about the NBA and the reality of what it takes to win and what basketball is, that they just don't have a realistic grasp on what actually builds to championships. Because they're too busy with their fantasy teams, or they're doing their NBA 2K build, and they just think that whatever applies to those things can apply to the real NBA. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's why, when you have a basis of basketball knowledge that's rooted in the fundamentals of team basketball play that has nothing to do with names, that has nothing to do with superstars like Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley, you learn from books that had just goofy people with drills and this and that, like I did. This is what the books I read when I was a kid, when I learned basketball, is I learned the fundamentals. I learned the game. I learned from Hubie Brown. I learned from Dr. Jack Ramsey. I learned from the czar, Mike Fratello. I learned from these kind of voices on TV that taught me the game as announcers during the game. And in some ways, that's lacking in today's game. And the fans don't necessarily have the fundamental know-how of what wins in team basketball. Sure, in the superstar era of LeBron, having LeBron wins and just having superstars. But that era is dead again. And that era should have been dead because it was all more sports entertainment than actual real competition, and not actually the battles of what we're getting now, like the finals we did with the Thunder and the Pacers last year. So the league has switched back to fundamentally what it should be. And that's a team sport where teams win, and not super teams with individual superstars that are three and the rest of the team's garbage, like it was for a little while. That's the big difference right there. Fiercely saying the Hornets announcers, he knew what time it was when IQ released it. He goes, oh no. Yeah. And then he died. Like he had a little bit of his spirit leave him. It's like weird. He's like, ah, he did like, ah. Raptors fans, enjoy this shit. It's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. It's so good. Oh no, magnificent. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see you, Shaq Lindsay, member of the channel. I appreciate you so much. He said, throw some Nestle quick on the Sunday. I like that. I like that. That's funny. I'm going to give Shaq Lindsay a dunk because he said, throw some Nestle quick on that Sunday. That's good, man. I like that. I've never heard him called Nestle quick yet. In some ways, I don't like Nestle, but I think that's kind of cool that you said that. Seriously, that's pretty cool, man. 6 on the dunk charts for for Shaq Lindsay on the Emmanuel joke. I like that. Nako's saying, I hope we never lose to Khan again. That's tough to say, man. This is, in some ways, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Con Knipple is a rookie, and he's going to be in this league probably for about 10 years at least, maybe more, maybe less. And we're going to have to play him like 4 times a year. So, Gerald, this is not realistic. This is not realistic. It's going to happen, unfortunately, but hopefully we beat him way more than we lose to him. Is basically what I say. HC's here, the undefeated. That's right. He's got that nickname because he's the undefeated. Rise and shine. That game was amazing. So good to be on the other side of heartbreak. Shaq Lindsay is definitely a diabetic. What? He said because he threw the Nestle Quick on a Sunday. Oh my gosh, calling him out like that. Looking like I'm losing my undefeated streak. Okay, yeah, let's check on that real quick. Yeah, you're playing Jason. Jason's tough, man. 804 to 573. Yeah, you got work to do. You might lose it this week. 11-0 will go to 11-1. Wow, you have a record like the Raptors 905. But yeah, there's our check-in with our fantasy league. HC is in trouble. It does look like that's true. Shaq Lindsay saying, trade who? If it's not RJ anymore or IQ after this game, then who? Yeah, I don't know who we're trading. I don't want to trade any of our guys. These guys fit. In fact, there's been a lot more talk this week about how well the trio of Brandon, Scotty, and RJ fit with each other. Like they really do. If there was some sort of confusion by NBA media last summer about who the hell the Raptors are and how will this fit, well, it fits fine. I think that Brandon has fit in excellent with the Raptors. We knew RJ and Scotty had great synergy, and they already make each other better. But was Brandon Ingram getting thrown into the mix, taking touches and things away from people going to hurt the team? No, because once again, RJ is selfless and he's willing to take a back seat. This is such a luxury to have RJ Barrett because last year he carried us a lot when people were out, and he was our go-to guy. He was our main dude. No ego. Brandon's coming in. We know that he's going to be that guy, and the pecking order changes. But hey, Brandon's not available. RJ's ready. Emergency option, and just in case. And that's amazing. And like, look, our haters could have speculated and said shit like, "Oh, your team doesn't work because they don't fit together." They can't say that shit. Are there people coming out in toxic places saying the Raptors don't work because RJ and Brandon and Scotty don't fit together as a trio? Nope. They're not saying that. So that's why I'm saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got a starting five that clicks and actually works very well with each other, that are diversified and distinguished as different powerful players in different ways. So why would you mess with that? That's what I say right there. Why would you mess with that? That's right, Shaq Lindsay. Bryce is saying, my preacher is all about giving. Our church raises $250,000 annually for local businesses and other churches around the world. It's amazing to see the impact one church can have. That's amazing, and that's beautiful. That is amazing, and that is beautiful. It is. Philanthropy is great because, but it's also the mercy of the churches and the rich people that give and through philanthropy. I'm really for a system that takes care of people without needing that to happen. Like I seriously am, because I feel like if the world is right and just and there's equality, everybody gets an equal chance in life to start and go and do stuff. And that means a basic floor income for everybody where all their needs are met and they can be who they want to be. In some ways, they don't have to be in the traditional workforce, but they can be a creative. And maybe they can go and create things that, they maybe couldn't have done without a floor income. I think there should be a ceiling on the income. There should be a height that you can get to, and that's it. You can't make any more. All the rest of it goes into tax dollars and back into society. And I think there should be a floor income that everybody makes a certain amount so that it ensures that people have food on the table and a roof over their heads. And really, that's all it needs to take care of the most. Maybe helps them out with prescriptions or healthcare issues if they need that also. So it's like, man, I love that your church does this, but I want to live in a world where this isn't necessary because the system takes care of everybody in the right way. But unfortunately, in the United States, it seems like we're going in the opposite direction away from that. And that's why, in some ways, the people got to get upset, fight for their rights, fight for how their tax dollars are being spent, and get their government back. So yeah, Bryce, applause for your church and what they do. That is humanitarian work, and that is amazing. I love that so much. I love that story. Shaq Lindsay saying this, Yak, you better come back fast or the Raptors Republicans, I hate that you keep calling them that, are going to have their forks out for you. Yeah. I mean, they come back around at Yak every once in a while. And once again, I don't even think these are Raptors Republic people. I think that they're just, once again, people that are in Raptors Nation that masquerade as fans, and they're just miserable critics, and they're not actually fans of the team. They, in some ways, they're not happy when they win. So, like, are you a fan of the team is what I'm wondering right there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying IQ said that ball and win was blessed. Thank God. Oh, for sure. Once again, I'll get like the song I sang at the top of this stream is a very religious song that has been sung for centuries. And the other thing about that song, "Oh Calm Emmanuel," is, Emmanuel, the name itself is protected by God. His name literally translates to protected by God quickly. That is his name. Emmanuel, the word Emmanuel is protected by God quickly. You add his name to it. So he's protected by God in a pinch, is what that is right there. That's right. Dunk for Fiercey and the Hornets announcers. Yeah, for sure. We'll give dunk for Fiercey. Yeah, the Hornets announcers were hilarious. Del Curry, respect. We love former Raptor Del Curry, the father of Steph. But still, kind of like, you guys were kind of hating on us in some ways. Del is not totally full-fledged Raptors alumni. He's definitely Hornets alumni. But he I don't know. It's weird. Like, I haven't seen Del Curry a whole lot with Raptors and alumni activities. But he respects it, and he doesn't like dispute his Raptors connections. But he could be better. He could be more like Muggsy. Muggsy is very good at balancing his connections with the Raptors and the Hornets. He's definitely Hornets first. I have no doubt that Tyrone Bogues is Hornets first, but he has very much put in the work and the connection with the Raptors franchise as a former player also. So he's very good success story for this. In some ways, Muggsy Bogues is smart. He understands there's a market here in Canada that he could have access to, and he's kept things in good relations. He has not burned any bridges. He has not ignored the aspect of his career when he was in a Toronto Raptors jersey. But some other guys do that. A lot of guys do that are former Raptors, and that matters to me. So it's like, Dell, maybe you should talk to Muggsy and maybe get a little more involved with the Raptors to an extent on some ways. Like, I mean, I haven't seen you come through other than when you were calling the game for Charlotte. When are you coming through the game for us? Or are you not with the Raptors anymore because the Raptors beat your son in the finals? I don't know. I don't know where Del Curry stands exactly, but I'm not hating on him. He hasn't said any derogatory things, but also at the same time, he's not being like Muggsy or JYD or Charles Oakley, is he? No, he's not. No, he is not. Yeah. KT saying this, Atlanta Hawks got rid of Trey, not only because the team is somewhat successful without him, but the main reason is salary dump. They are now flexible to make another strong move, maybe AD. I think that's likely. There's a lot of news saying that Anthony Davis going to the Hawks is coming up, and Porzingis may be back in Dallas. I have heard this week. I have heard this. Kesper is saying Giannis is a bad free throw shooter as a number one option, and yet he still won a championship. So don't say it's impossible. I don't even know what we're talking about in this reference to. Yeah, I mean, bad free throw shooting. You're talking about RJ because he shoots bad? That's the only person we talked about with bad free throw shooting. Giannis has been a work in progress over the years. It's concentration. It's a weird thing. But you're right. He won a championship. I don't know. This is a weird aside. It's a weird aside. RJ makes the free throws when they matter at the end of the game. And this is a similar thing with Jakob. Jakob has been a very bad free throw shooter most of his career. But in recent years, I've noticed that Jakob has worked really hard on changing his technique, and he's been having better results at the free throw line. And then at the end of the game, if it's really like important free throws in the fourth quarter, he's making them. He's making them. And RJ's the same thing. So at least these guys are buckling down and making them for sure at the end of the game when it really, really matters. But I would say they matter the whole way through because they all stack up to the end, right? KT saying this, RJ showed me something. I never thought he had it in him. I know he's a dog, but yesterday he went into full beast mode. He knew the time. Everyone in the arena knew RJ was taking this one personal. In some ways it's cool because, look, they're young guys, RJ and Emmanuel, but they do have like years in the league. RJ came in very young. He's been in the league a long time, but he's only like 25 years old, right? He's not that old, but these guys have time served and they've played a lot. And Emmanuel making that shot and RJ carrying in the fourth, well, he's more experienced than most of the Charlotte Hornets. He's more experienced than most of the Raptors. So it's easy for him to morph into the top dog, dominant person on the court in the absence of Brandon, because honestly, he's the next guy in the hierarchy of seniority and experience in the NBA that's on that court. And don't give me Miles Bridges. Don't give me any of this shit. Nah, because he's played on a bad team for many years. And does he have any real experience with winning overall? No, he doesn't. So that's part of it right there. RJ's ready to step into that spot. G saying, I was on a live and said IQ is going to win this game in the end. I just had a feeling even after the misses. I did too. I called it. It's weird, man, because I'm on a delay when I watch it. And before the shot went up, I said he made it. I knew it. I felt it actually through the time that the signal sent to me from Charlotte, from him hitting it. I felt the instance when it happened, like it was the Force, like in a Star Wars movie. I'm like, oh, he made it, and I didn't even know yet. And I saw it then, like a couple seconds later, that he did on the stream I was watching, and I was like, holy crap, he did make it. But for some reason, I felt it too, like within seconds ahead of it. But it was probably when it actually happened that I felt it happen. I don't know. That's weird, man. Maybe I'm too connected to the team in a weird sense. I don't know. That's weird, man. Kareem saying quickly didn't let LaMelo Ball get to the cup. It was a miscommunication. Shed was supposed to switch and didn't. Well, either way, there were already people sharpening their knives on that play to go after IQ after the game was over. Scotty said, right. Yeah. What are you saying now? What are you saying now? That's right. Seymour said, what pop, gang? I wanted a double-digit win, but win's a win, and I will take it 100%. That's right. That's right. It would have been if the refs had manipulated shit. Twardowski, man, you guys were, Bernecki was fair on the challenges. I will give him that. He's a lawyer. In some ways, he still upholds the sense of justice and law. Well, he had to be fair on those challenge calls. And one of the calls, I was like, man, don't do this. It was the call where Grady got his hand on the ball first, and then Scotty got his hand on the ball second, and both were clean. Now, we thought that they were looking for fouls. The refs didn't call a foul on that play. They called out of bounds and Charlotte ball. But Darko called a challenge to say, no, the possession's actually Raptors ball. And he was trying to say possession. And they were right. He was right. He was right because there was no foul. These guys got ball first on that play. But the refs were so bad that we had to burn our challenges in the first half just to get a couple of calls right. In some ways, I was like, man, you just got to let those go and save that second challenge in your pocket. Maybe you call them out on the first time. They're egregiously bad and get the successful challenge for that one. And then you just warn them for a little while, like in the second and third. You're maybe like, I had to challenge you on that call and you got wrong before. I think you're wrong again right now. And see if they can do the switch on the call without actually getting the green light lit up. Because in some ways, losing that challenge in the first half, like the ability to challenge, winning both the challenges, but losing the ability to challenge for the second half was a detriment. And in some ways, you may want to have a rule, Coach Rajakovic, where you use one in the first and one in the second, and you don't burn that second one in the first half no matter what, just in case. It was interesting. Seymour's, I've seen Seymour. KT saying the dinosaur is extinct, but there's one live and well, and he lives in Toronto. Shaq Lindsay saying Trey wanted to go to Washington because Jordan Poole had success. They're sucking their salary dry with his lack of defense and his poor shot selection. Man, Trey Young ain't no future for the Wizards. He's going to hurt the development of the young players. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to call it like that. Yeah. Raptors Champs is saying RJ has championship DNA since he stepped on T-Dot soil. What I like is that his energy is contagious. Yeah. There were times when he was out in the 5 weeks where the Raptors looked like they were dogging it or tired or not giving full effort. Well, like I said, RJ Barrett is quality control. He's got a standard that he's always going to have when he's out on the court, and other guys have to match it. He's a leader, and he can say, yeah, look what I'm doing, guys. You need to do this too. And we know that his energy and coming at the game is true with his passion and his drive and his motives for what he's doing. So he really is good for that. And that was something that we noticed in his absence was there's a lot more not trying hard enough by the Raptors as a team in a lot of situations. And it's not like that when RJ's been back. No, it hasn't. Seymour saying for CJ and Kispert. Yeah, bag of chips. That's hilarious. Raptors Champs is saying, what are your thoughts on Oshai? Would you extend his contract? Probably not. I think that it's an easy decision to make for the team, partly because that's such a logjam at that position for the Raptors at the 2-3 that in some ways, like he's going to have to get money and extend this summer. And in some ways, it may be better to sign and trade him to get something for him, or it may be just fine to let him go and let him test the free agency market and just go out there. Another factor that's making me even more okay with this, because I was valuing Oshai as a two-way. He's an absolutely fantastic defender, and he is absolutely a winning type player that can help somebody win a championship. But with the emergence of Colin recently and the way Colin Murray-Boyles is playing right now, I don't know if it's totally necessary to keep the defensive prowess of Abaji on our team for that aspect. Because in some ways, Colin can do some of the stuff we've seen. He can't guard the guards like Oshai, and Oshai is super useful against players like Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell and stuff like that. So, but Colin's emergence is definitely making me lean more towards let Abaji walk, is what I'm saying right now. Yeah, Kaz is here. Good morning, Kaz. Trae Young traded for a 6-pack and a bucket of extra crispy. You guys are funny. Kesper is saying Washington's problem is their playing system doesn't work, especially on the defensive end. They've had so many former champions, yet they've always given up so many points in games. Yeah, there's a lot of different issues with that franchise. It's like, where do you even start to try and fix things? In some ways, that's why it's so important to have somebody like a Masai Ujiri, because they're a trend setter, they're a standard setter, they're a culture setter. And when you get that coach with that front office person, then you can start doing it. But they don't have either of those. Brian Keefe is not he's a stopgap, just kind of, we have to have a coach, and this is the guy who will coach for us in some ways. So the front office is not, they've drafted well in recent years, which is new, honestly, because Washington's been very poor at drafting most of their franchise history. But there's some promise with that. But also, what do you do when you have a team that's like not really got the pillars in it, the cornerstones for success in very important areas? Where do you even start? How do you even solidify those things? How do you even attract good stuff to your team when you don't have a whole lot in place that is actually good? That's why it's so important to have a good coach and a good front office in place. It's so important. It is so important. It's tough. It's tough. Washington's getting some traction, though, and credit to Keefe for that. But I think Trae Young might screw this all up now. Seriously. Shaq Lindsay saying, I wonder if the players and coaches on Washington had a meeting last night and said, well, we're going to get Trae, so I need everybody to step up on their defense, even if you guys don't get a chance to. That's the thing. Like Hesper just said, it's not like the Wizards are defensive gurus, and you're taking one of the worst defensive players in the league and putting them on your team as a high-usage player. Yeah, the Wizards may lose more going forward into the rest of the year, partly because their defense just got worse because Trae Young's like that. Yeah. Kesper's saying, story of Washington losing games. Beal, we can't guard a parked car. Kuzma, we can't guard a stop sign. Trae, we can't guard a insert stationary object. Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's why Washington wanted to pay so much money for Masai Ujiri 10 years ago. They were really ready to throw so much money at him. He's like, no, I'm in Toronto. I'm not trying to come coach the Wizards or be the GM of the Wizards. Nope. That's right. G saying doing a trade gets his bird rights too. Okay, that's part of why they traded to get Trae Young. Interesting. Neil's saying this, when they brought BI in that, you're talking about with Brandon, when I was talking about that. When they brought BI in, that gave them the chance to prove Toronto is a place he can play. If Brandon didn't come here, there's no guarantee we entice him to sign in free agency. Yep, that's the point that I made earlier. Kareem saying Ingram has a level 1 grade sprain. Longest it could take is 2 weeks, but Ingram is a dog. He could very well play tomorrow against Philly. Let me go look at that. Is this breaking news? Let me just see what the official is saying here. Well, they canceled school in Minnesota today. I don't see that exactly yet right here. I don't see that in the breaking news, exact details of that. All right, let's see. Raptors Champs is saying, I always feel with our front office is patient for a good cause, a method to what we may think is madness, but it always works itself out. Well, there's an art of war or there's different philosophies on competition that you don't want to be desperate. You know, when you do desperate things, you make bad decisions. So it's really been the philosophy of Ujiri and Webster as a partnership, and Webster now by himself, to be patient, to not do anything out of feelings of urgency or feelings of rushed or ooh, we have to do this. They've noticed that, like in the NBA, when teams are feeling a little anxious or urgent, they fuck up. And that's part of it right there. And that's smart. And that's why, like, knee jerk reactions, like firing Tom Thibodeau last year or things like that, can sometimes not be the right move, because it's like, wow, actually we had it better and we didn't realize it. And now we've made this change and this is actually not better. So I would say, look, developing within and getting it right the first time through draft and what the guys you even bring in through the door is the best, because switching guys in and out, you mess with chemistry, you mess with built up chemistry that you've already had with your team and your teammates, that it goes out the window when somebody isn't invested in, right? That's why, you know, switching guys in and out like your clothes when you get up in the morning, it's just not smart, because you have to build these bonds and this familiarity and time together. And that's why less moves is better, because less moves shows that you're successful in making the right moves in the first place. And also it allows you to fast track and go faster in rebuilding and coming back, because you're not shuffling everything up every 6 months or so. And that's the big problem with a lot of teams in the league, why they don't get any traction or go anywhere. They think they're improving their team, but they actually detrimented their team on the download and they didn't even realize it, because they lost a key player that actually was helping them, because they thought the grass was greener on the other side and they made a move for the sake of making a move. That's it right there. That's it right there. Right there. Fiercely saying this, I like Glorilla doing a voiceover to have a voice for BI, a vote for BI. That's cool. Yeah. I guess they had a little ad for Glorilla imploring everybody to vote. Yesterday was a 3 times day. If you voted for All-Star 3 times the vote, good stuff there. Raptors champ saying she needs to do one for Barnes now. Yeah, I don't know if the connection with Barnes is the same. Maybe they could get little baby Millie to do it. That would be cute. Scotty's daughter got on the mic and said, "Daddy, All-Star, Daddy, All-Star." And that's all she said. She can say daddy. We know that. I wonder if she can say All-Star. Daddy, All-Star. Trevor's saying this. It's a lot of jackass and donkeys out there talking about the Raptors. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to listen to them. Seriously, some people may consider me a jackass and a donkey in the Raptor sphere. That's fine. I'm not the right flavor for everybody. But if you're a true passionate one for the team like RJ and I, well, you can be with us. Yeah, you can watch this channel and be an RFF. That's right. But some people probably think I'm a jackass too. That's fine. I'm not trying to win everybody. I'm just looking for the real ones like Rowan Barrett Jr. That's right. Nako's saying Colin could be a starter. We just don't need him to be one right now. Yak's right. Yeah, I don't think he should be a starter right now. I think he's been a good stopgap for now, but I don't think he should be a starter yet. I think that, once again, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that he's not doing exactly right because he's still learning. He's in a rookie year, and we don't need to rush him. We don't need to rush him. He is a starter caliber, and he should be a starter in this league for most of his career. But right now, because of the way things are, I don't see him starting over the other 5 guys. I just don't. Those guys all need to start. The 5 starters we have are badasses, and they make the money to do it. And Colin can be the emergency backup starter if we need him to be, or just be a very powerful off the bench defensive rebounding glue guy that's doing all kinds of cool stuff. You know, this is good. We want lots of talent on this team. And if we're so good that Colin could start, but he's coming off the bench, that's a symbol of us being very good, is what I'm saying. Ken A saying amazing win with horrendous shooting. I know it's a weird calling card we got these days. Nameless is here. Good to see the Italian plumber. I was so happy for IQ. No surprise for me about Colin's performance. Yeah, we know what you can do, so keep doing it, Colin. Keep doing it. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying bird rights for Trey. What the fuck? I would let that bird fly. Washington probably could have gotten Trey on Boxing Day deal 65% off in the offseason. All right, you want to dunk. He brought up Boxing Day. I think he's talking about bird rights for Brandon in that comment. I think that that's what he intended. He was saying that getting him in the trade at the deadline instead of waiting for free agency allowed the Raptors to have bird rights on Brandon Ingram. 9 dunks for Shaq Lindsey. You got the RJ, my guy. You got the RJ. Fiercely saying Colin a career high in rebounds. Yeah, 15. That's pretty good. Blackhawk is saying Washington will pay Trey and sell seats for Washington. However, Trey will not rehabilitate his career because there's nothing in Washington to humble him. If he had come to the Raptors, he would be humble. I don't know if that's true. And why do we even talk about this still? He's gone somewhere. Can we get out of the way of the bullseye of Trey Young coming to Toronto at this point? Because he's gone to Washington. And don't even put that idea in my head. I'm like, why'd you put I'm visualizing him in Toronto. I'm like, why, Neil? Why did you do that? He's in Washington. He's in Washington. Let's see. Trevor's saying, I'm so happy that the Trey Young rumors are over. People saw Scotty with him. He was coming to the Raptors. I know. They overanalyzed and read too much into it. I know that I remember, like I said, Scotty talking about Trey Young on his Twitch, and I think that they have the same representation. I think that's part of it. I think that they have the same representation group. And Scotty has bonds with different guys across the league because of that. I know Chet Holmgren's another guy who has the same representation as Scotty. And that's part of why, like on Twitch, when I was dissing Chet Holmgren, Scotty got mad at me. He said, why are you coming at Chet like that? He's my guy. He's on my same representation group. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, man, I like hating on Chet Holmgren. But Scotty wasn't about it. He wouldn't let me do that on his Twitch stream in the comments. So I think that's why. I think that Trey is in the same group as him. And that's why he's talking to him after the game. That's why. G saying, if the league is going to punish tanking teams now, which sounds like it's in the works, maybe Washington finally realized they can't keep milking the draft and revenue sharing system. They have to at least look like they're trying to win. Well, they are. I don't see them like faking anything. They've been trying to win this whole time. They've just been really shitty, really, really bad. I don't think they've been tanking on purpose. I think that there have been teams that have tanked on purpose, but they're better teams. I think the Wizards have just been this bad. I don't think they've been trying to tank. I seriously do believe that. And they've gotten better. They're definitely not trying to tank because they did get better this year, right? Fiercely saying Washington Capital One Arena always empty. So unattractive to play there. That Charlotte Arena wasn't that full either last night from what I saw. Shaq Lindsay saying, listen, Atlanta, do not get AD. For the money you're paying him, you are going to lose out. Trust me, I know from experience because I'm from Toronto and I pay taxes. Laugh out loud. Shaq Lindsay, are you trying to go the hoop with dunks right now? This is hilarious. I don't know. I don't want to make fun of Canadian taxes. I will say this, that Hawks fans are kind of reacting weird to this move last night. Some of them are very upset. Seriously. Some of them are saying we don't want to be Hawks fans anymore. Is basically what they're saying. I don't get that. I guess these were Trey Young loyalists, maybe a little bit like the Luka stuff with Dallas last year. It was like, whoa, he's our franchise guy. How could you trade him? I've loved Trey the whole time he's been on the Hawks. He was my ride or die with him. Some fans are upset about this. And because they love Trey Young and they didn't want to see him leave the Atlanta Hawks. And maybe they also see the deal and they're like, this is all we got for Trey Young. I hate being a Hawks fan. Like I've seen this in Hawks fan places last night where they're kind of like, can I come and join another fan base? Because I'm just sick of the Hawks. They're kind of like that right now. I've seen that in some place. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let's see. Neil's saying the best thing about the game-winning shot is that it was not predictable. It was to me. I mean, only because of the lineup of the clock and us getting the last second shot. I mean, we're an NBA team. We have a coach that's a badass top international coach that is really one of the best coaches in the world. And, he drew that play up masterfully and it worked execution. This is something they practice. This is professional basketball. And when professional basketball is done right, it looks like what it looked like at the end of the game with the Raptors. And that's what we love about that. You can say it was not predictable, but Darko predicted it. Emmanuel and RJ and Scotty made it happen. So there you go. There you go. Roger Raymond's here. Good morning, Roger Raymond, supporter of the channel. I appreciate you so much. Good day, Raptor freaks. Thanks for coming in hot, Lex. Impressed with the trust Raptors have in each other and their toughness. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's part of the circle of trust that Darko talked about on Open Gym at the beginning of the season is they're going to say all kinds of shit about us. They're going to say all kinds of bullshit on social media. They're going to say stupid things on TV. They're going to say stupid things on sports radio. They're going to say all kinds of dumb stuff about us. The only people we care about thinking about us is us, your teammates and your coaches. This is the circle of trust. It's within us and just us. And they keep those boundaries up. And that's why when it conflicts in the media scrum, it's hilarious. It's like Darko, Sandro's been slumping lately. How do you feel about that? Sandro's not been slumping lately. I don't know where you get that. I don't think he's been slumping. Darko, Emmanuel's not shooting well. He's not been playing well lately. I don't think Emmanuel's not been playing right. He's just not making shots. This is shit he's been saying all season. The perception of the team from within and the confidence they derive from within is separated from all the noise. And that they don't let all this bullshit, all the doubters, all the weird ass negative ninnies and criticisms filter into their heads. It's not a part of it at all. They're on an island away. They have no internet access and they're not hearing any of it because they have their own perception from within. And it's a very confident one that they will be successful. And that's what you get last night. I love it too, man. Roger Raymond, I love it so much. I love it so much. Shaq Lindsay saying Atlanta don't get AD. Give Nickel that money. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I like that. Neil saying, I'm coming home, Elizabeth. Wheezy was the Jeffersons. Wheezy, I'm coming home. Oh, yeah, you're right. Wheezy was Isabel Sanford. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I'm totally wrong. All right, you fact check me. G saying, haha, Matty D with another Ron Jeremy moment. Did he do that? I didn't hear them. I was watching Charlotte last night. Mr. Roger Raymond saying coming. Okay. Isaac saying, I think Washington is going to land AD. They see the Knicks collecting Villanova players, and they were inspired to build a team of players that were poorly traded for Luka Doncic. All right, you're going to dunk. You're getting a dunk. That is an intricate joke, and it's very funny. It's very, very funny. So, Isaac, you're getting a dunk. Let me see. How many you got this year? I think that might be your first. Oh, you do have some. You're going to 15. You got the Vince Carter, my guy. You got your VC already for the year. You're actually the dunk leader right now, Isaac, as the dunk champion with Kareem. Let's see. Washington is in the bottom of the league for defense, and Trey is excited. Man, you're just rolling on this. It's hilarious, man. Nako's saying, I know for me, I'm a shed head. Oh, man, that sounds so bad if you say it wrong. And I want him to be that great success. I'm glad IQ is here and one of the most underrated and overhated guys in the league. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why do you even bring this up, Gerald? It's like we can laud IQ. We can be fans of both of them. Like, you can be a shedhead, and in some ways you're giving yourself away that you want IQ off this team because you want Jamal to take over for him. No, man. Seriously, everything on its right timeline, whether it's Murray-Boyles or Shed. Okay, guys? Everything on its right timeline. You guys get too far ahead. Jimmy's saying, very messed up. Rest in peace to that woman. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine, guys, if you were just trying to turn around your vehicle on a street and a police officer or a masked person came up to your window and banged on your window with their guns drawn? And, the flight or flight reaction is different in everybody. In some ways with the news in the States, and not really trusting ICE or what is going on in that country, why would you trust law enforcement right now? Maybe the best reaction in the situation is to flee if you can, because you might be able to get away. I know that sounds crazy, and maybe most people say you can't get away from police. Well, trust me, I've done it myself in my real life down when I was younger in Florida. I have outran the police and gotten out of trouble by eluding them. So, yeah, you can get away from the police. And in some ways, it's her right to maybe drive away if she hasn't broken any laws, right? Did she break any laws? No. The dude just power grabbed and shot her in the face because she didn't want to stop. And, can you fault her for wanting to escape because there's crazy ass ICE Gestapo going on right now? I don't think so. But some people say, oh, you have to comply to the bootlickers and the authoritative regime of ICE. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. And the dictator will tell you should comply and always bow to authoritative bullshit. But I would say if you're standing up for freedom, you're standing up what's for right. No, you don't. You resist. But you got to figure out the right levels. And part of the problem is that these guys that are running around as ICE agents are not trained professionals. These are just idiots that they found that are willing to take the bonus and become racist Nazi Gestapo motherfuckers. And you have people that really don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're running around as ICE people, and they're absolutely making bad outcomes and things happen because they're not trained right, or they're maybe not individuals that should ever be involved in law enforcement anyway, because they're absolute losers and people that the only people that Trump could get to come and do ICE. Seriously, there's a lot of that. That's part of it. And that smacks of what happened yesterday. A cop, a normal cop, a good, upstanding, true cop would have not done that. And that just shows a lack of training and unprofessionalism in somebody who's put in a position that he should not have had that authority, is what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. From Aoman, thank you for the subscription and the comment. He's saying, who's the best Raptor ever? Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time. He's a champion. He's the GOAT. But DeMar DeRozan's a very close 1B. And some days I wake up and I'll say it's DeMar DeRozan for his sacrifice and for how he helped build up our team and his prolific scoring in his career and just how he's a real one for our team even after we did him so dirty. So, yeah, that has to be taken into account. If my top 4 greatest Raptors of all time in the order are Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam, and Fred VanVleet. No Vince, no Kawhi, no Chris Bosh. That's the way I look at it, because it matters to me how you respect and treat the franchise called the Toronto Raptors for you to be one of the greatest. You're not great if you shat all over our team at some point. And, well, Carter and Bosh both did that. And then Kawhi, you're just not around long enough. Just 1 year. Yeah, I give you a lot of credit, and it's very important what you did. But you had to have more longevity with us. You at least needed to come back and try and repeat with us for 1 more year. So Kawhi gets disqualified. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, thanks for the question. Mr. Quasimodo's in the house. Hey, sir, who's your favorite non-Raptor player that hasn't played for Toronto? Mine is Maxey. My favorite non-Raptor player ever in the history of basketball, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman. He's my favorite basketball player when I was a kid growing up, right up until he retired. Yeah, I love Dennis. He never played for the Raptors. He's my favorite player that was not a Raptor. That's who it is. That's it right there. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well too, Mr. Quasimodo. Nako saying the Knicks we got are overhated. Overhated instead of overrated. Yeah. There's a lot of hate. And I'm telling you right now, some of it is that they don't want them to be successful after they leave New York because they want to feel good about the OG trade. I'm telling you right now, they don't want to see these guys grow and get better. RJ's definitely gotten better, and Emmanuel's getting better in front of us right now. He's going to get better and better. Raptors champ saying RJ gets the first star for me. RJ built the house. IQ added the furniture. RJ made it possible. Well, I won't say that that's not true. That without RJ's contribution, the Raptors don't do this. But we could say that for everybody. And which percentage of the pie is most important? I don't know. Closing that door right at the end, that's sometimes the hardest part. That's sometimes the hardest part right there. But, I could really honestly give a 1A, 1B for the number 1 star of the game last night between Barrett and Quickly. For sure. Isaac's saying the difference between Yak and AD is $34.6 million. If you think that math is workable, I'll give you my mailing address where you can send me the check. Yeah, all right. Both of them are centers that get hurt. And, well, which one do you want to pay more for? You want to pay all that money for AD or, $20 million for Yak a year? That's fantastic. So he makes $54 million a year. That's crazy. That's way overpay for Anthony Davis. Seriously. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. One thing can make or break you. Always strive towards perfection and allow your faith and ability to get you there. The future is not given. The future is unknown. The future is going to be shaped. And in some ways, when the future is so cloudy and we don't totally understand it, even the near future, we need to have faith in the creator above that they're going to take care of us and figure it all out. I think one of the things I've had to remind myself over and over again is that whatever you're projecting into the future, Lex, is not going to be as bad as you think. and it's not going to be as good as you think either. So it's probably going to be somewhere in between. So all the doomsday scenarios we're going through our heads right now, there may be some of those elements that are absolutely true and they do come out, but it may not be as bad as we think. I tend to be a worst case scenario kind of guy that may think of the worst case scenario and then work back from that. And in some ways, it's scary right now, the worst case scenario. But in the reality of the world and how things work out, sometimes the worst case is not actually what happens. And there's something a little bit better than that. And I have to keep reminding myself that. Because right now, I'm really thinking, like, wow, things are really moving in the wrong direction in the United States. And this is very bad for the whole rest of the world. We're seeing a circling of the wagons with EU, with Canada and Australia and other countries saying that NATO does still matter and that Trump's overtures about Greenland are absolutely reprehensible and they are not going to be met as just, oh, you're making jokes. No, fuck around and find out. Seriously. And the history of Greenland is that Greenland's never been conquered in 1,100 years. The Danes have protected that land from anybody coming there and taking it from them. That's a long time, 1,100 years. And you got to understand just how much there was running over Europe and trying to take over territories, whether it's by the Nazis, whether it's by people before that in different empires. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah, fuck around and find out. You'd probably be just surprised to see just how much pushback and how many people are ready to line up against Donald Trump and his bullshit he's trying to do in the United States. A lot of that's not getting advertised, and there is a lot of people that are ready to come and take him down. So trust me, we may see this very soon. He's done a lot of distraction. He's really held off the Epstein shit. He's done this shit with Venezuela now. There's a lot of stuff he's doing. He's a desperate man in some ways. But also at the same time, he's trying to ensconce himself in power and get that power stable in the eyes and the ways of the world that he wants. And we don't want the world he wants. So we have to go and switch it up. That's right. Blessings to Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. Reggie's here. Good to see Reggie. Now it's confirmed Mo Bamba is not returning. What are your options for a backup late to the stream? I don't know if it's confirmed yet. There's still time for him to circle back and get signed with a 10-day. So even though it didn't happen right away, the possibilities of him circling back and coming back are still there. It's just that it may not be right away. Some people said, oh, he's coming back the next day. He's getting waived and he's getting signed the next day. It's on Bobby's time. And the timing that he looks at, it may have to do with things with Yak. It may have to do with money and deadlines and things like that. So this is not for sure yet. And once again, I've said this already, Reggie. I'm not trying to get anybody else. Our team's complete right now. And we, even without Mo Bamba at this point, I'm like, holy crap. Actually, we may not need that extra big, is what we're learning, because the emergence of Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty Barnes playing more and more like a true 5. So, I mean, once again, I didn't start this stream, but I talked earlier in this stream about how we're a complete team and everybody trying to tell us that we need something. We don't. We're fine. So, yeah, I don't have any other options for a backup because I don't see this need. Nako's saying this. After Scotty, though, Colin undoubtedly has the highest potential of any Raptor. No, that's not true. You make these blanket statements. In some ways, it kind of shows, like, I know you started watching since the championship. No, RJ has the highest potential after Scotty, not Colin, because RJ has an offensive game that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And I mean, you could even say Brandon too, like in some ways. Like, look, you think Colin Murray-Boyles is going to become as good as Scotty? That's not true. He won't be as good as Scotty. His offense will not get anywhere near what Scotty's is. He's going to be a very good player, but in some ways, his player build is not exactly what you think it is. And his offensive game, if we get any kind of levels of offensive game that are go-to at some point, that'll be great. But he's never, ever going to be the go-to guy. I don't see it. I don't see him being the leading scorer. I see him as being a lunch pail guy that's a really good defender and a rebounder. And in some ways, that's the best role for him. So I kind of disagree with you here, man. The highest potential of any Raptor, well, Brandon Ingram's already at the highest potential right now. And RJ Barrett is probably after Scotty on that. And I might even say Emmanuel has a higher potential than Colin Murray-Boyles. And that may make some Raptors fans' heads explode. It really might, honestly. Isaac's saying 100% smooth. Duncan, we do need a backup. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, guys. Dunk. No, we're not doing that. I want this stuff to stop. I want us to just be happy with who we got and go forward and watch them play. That's what I want. I'm sick of the noise, guys. I'm already sick of it. And I know it's going to intensify as the trade deadline approaches in the next month. It's going to intensify. But I'm like, y'all, can we just stop? Seriously, we don't need anything. We're not like that. It's like I said, look in the mirror in the morning, see your face in the mirror and say, I'm good enough as I am. I'm a complete person. I don't need anything else in my life. We're going to say that about our team too, is what I'm saying. Neil's saying, just as we have to have a strong stars, we have to have a strong bench. Colin is good with the bench while he learns the NBA. Yeah. And what happens is they'll do it's development. It's development time. And, the roster will change and maybe some tough decisions on who the starters are will morph over the years. But it's not the time to speculate this or start saying this guy needs to be out of the starting lineup to make room for Colin Murray-Boyles to start. It's not the time to do this. He's a rookie. He's a bench player. He's starting recently because we needed him to, but he's not a starter this year. And that could change as soon as next year. We'll just have to see the offseason moves. But the way we're set up right now, Colin Murray-Boyles is a bench. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And y'all can be mad about it, but that's just the truth. Everybody wants everything so fast for everything. They want the championship right away. They want this or this and this and this. No, it's development. It takes time. Scotty's journey to be who he is at this point, 5 years into his career, it took time. And it didn't all happen overnight. And all this is the same with the team rebuilding to a championship or a young player, a rookie learning the NBA. You guys get ahead of yourselves and you want to rush everything. And we got it. We can't do that. Smooth saying that per Michael Grange, Mo will not be back. Okay. He didn't work out. We found out he was a dud. He seemed like a good idea. He seemed like all the potential and the talent and the athleticism in the world to be the right person. But we brought him in. We saw him. He was around and it didn't work. And I'm going to trust that they decided they didn't want him anymore, more than Jabroni at home saying, oh, they failed because they didn't keep Mo Bamba. And what a fail by Bobby Webster. They're idiots. Yeah. Like, you know better than Bobby. Did you even talk to Mo Bamba? Do you even know who he is? Yeah. So how the hell are you going to know? So, okay, Mo Bamba's off the table. Okay, that's fine. I have no problem with this. In some ways, we tried him. We did this. I'm glad Bobby made the move to make people shut up. And then also, we found out, well, is Mo Bamba going to work? We found out no. And I even warned people when we signed him, it was like, if he doesn't work out and he just goes away and he barely does anything for us, don't get all upset and butthurt just because you thought that was the right move. And that was what was going to happen. There you go. Wayne's here. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Well-deserved win and happy for IQ. Some of us just don't learn about the complexity of life relating to trials and tribulations. Sports is life. Prepare for the good and the bad. That's right. And believe in yourself in the moment. When it's time to be a hero, believe in yourself and have confidence. I think that's a very strong message from last night. Reggie's saying he said that there was a possibility the Raptors would retain him, but due to tax implications, they opted to pass. See, it wasn't worth the money that they'd have to pay into the tax to keep him around. He wasn't worth keeping around to pay that money. That's what they're saying. Okay, that makes sense to me. Stargate's here. Peep this, folks. 8 games over 500, still 4th in the East. Let's see what people choose to focus on now. Well, they better not be coming at our coach. They better not be coming at IQ. They better not be coming at RJ. I don't know who they're coming at. I don't know who they're coming at. Maybe they should just chill and not come at anybody and just watch the games and be a fan. That's what I say right there. Reggie's saying props to Kia Nurse. She said the reason Trey wanted Washington was they would allow him to play the way he wants to. Okay, and that means more losing basketball for the Wizards right there. That's funny. All right, let Trey play the way he wants to and see that it's a losing way of playing. Nako's saying Trey led a team to the ECF. He's flawed. I don't think he's a number one guy. I think he can do something with a team with good defense and passing. Those teams made it there despite him, honestly. He had a better roster around him back then. That's why. There's been periods of time where the Hawks were very talented overall, but it didn't work. And, he still found a ceiling where he hit his head and he couldn't go any further. It did not win in the end, did it? So I'll tell you right now, he's not a championship player, even if he's had different levels of playoff success. You know, that was in some ways to me more indicative. He had a very talented team around him that was helping and covering up for him in a lot of ways too. Nako's saying 100% Luka is a franchise guy, team building aside. Luka is going to be your best player unless it's OKC or Denver. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's totally true. I mean, he could come to our team and I would say Scotty's better than him. Yep. I'd say that Scotty's more important to winning than Luka Doncic. Yep. I think Scotty's more likely to win an NBA championship than Luka Doncic. Yep. Why? Because Luka has the same problem Trey has. He's horrible a defender, and he's a liability. And just like when the Mavericks went to the finals against the Celtics, they dudded out partly because of Luka. So the Lakers are fool's gold. They're not going to ever win with Luka. And Lakers Nation can get all excited and crazy because they have Doncic, but it's fool's gold. They're never going to win. And it's a similar thing to Trey Young. Luka is a better player, and he's a high-level player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a player build for Larry O'Brien. He's not a player build for that. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Raptors Champs is saying facts. Babcock made the worst trade. Yep. And Richard Petty, it's your fault, you bastard. That's right. Nako's saying, I wish we played Norm. What do you mean? You want to play Miami more? We'll play Miami. Yeah, we'll definitely play Miami again. Right? Yeah, we still got games against them, or did we finish them? No, we have a 2-game series with them still in Toronto, don't we? We played both the games in Miami and beat them in both those games, and we still got to play Miami twice in Miami. I think that's right. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. G saying RJ, Dylan Brooks, and Zach Edey would body slam him. Yeah. Who was that saying that? Oh, yeah, it was Brandon Jennings saying that Canadians are soft and they're easy to push around. Go play Zach Edey. Go play Zach Edey, motherfucker. That's what I say. Stargate saying, kind of question is that? Kenyon Martin versus Draymond, huh? Okay, I got to call in. You can call it. Call in. Hey, Mo's here. Good to see superfan Monique Lawrence. So happy to see the official superfan of the Toronto Raptors. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. What a win. Still happy this only boosts IQ's confidence. Wow. So happy for him. Seriously. I'll bet your IQ signed jersey is feeling so right wearing that one right now. That's right. Mo's got the most beautiful IQ jersey from her birthday a couple summers ago. And wow. I'll bet you wear it with pride today. That's right. Go IQ. We know we've been riding with IQ this whole time, even when other people were dissing him. Monique and I were on his side the whole time. I know we were. That's right. So happy to have you in the chat this morning, Mo. Nako's saying SGA, Nebhard, which one? RJ, Brooks, Edey would have to be one of the best starting fives in the league. That's pretty good. I mean, that's our Team Canada starting five, right? Zach is not our starting center yet, but he will be soon in the near future. And wow, Team Canada is going to be fun to watch, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, Nameless is saying, I'm so glad we can put that Trey to Toronto narrative to bed. Stupid idea. Yep, I'm with you on that. Raptors Champ saying, I remember when Kenyon Martin got revenge on Karl Malone and checked him on the court. I kind of remember that too. You know, that's not easy to do, man. That's not easy to do. Karl Malone's a very strong dude and dirty player too, with crazy ass elbows. And Kenyon Martin was a regulator. He's one of the few people that could stand off with Karl Malone and actually be an even fight. It was crazy like that. Yeah, I kind of remember that, Raptors Champs. Yeah. Superfan Mo saying the locker room happiness. Oh, yeah, the shower for Manuel and him holding the chain and the team picture. Vibes are immaculate. Vibes are awesome. And the way these guys come and crowd him after he makes the shot and just the pure joy. There's no haters on here. There's nobody kind of like silently being like, oh, man, I hate this. No, they are all very happy for what happened last night, for sure. Yeah, G saying Nako and Jamal Murray have been on fire. That's right. Jamal Murray has been playing very well this year, and he deserves to be on the all-star team. Nameless is saying, why would we want to do Dallas or Atlanta any kind of favors and rescue them? Exactly. This is the thing. We're like the kid in school that studied and do the project, and we're getting A+. We got kids that sit next to us in class that want to cheat off us. We don't need to help any of them. Shit, we're doing our thing right, and we're taken care of. There's no reason to help any other franchise in this league unless it helps us too.
And that's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, I wouldn't even piss on their fire to put it out. Whenever somebody says that, I'm like, wait a second, though. In some ways, you want to be a humanitarian and help them. And in some ways, you're getting them back by peeing on them. So maybe you save them and they don't die, but you get to pee on them too. I think I would piss on them if they were on fire, even if they were my enemy. That saying always made me think, like, what? That's so weird. It's kind of like, it's a weird one, man. It's a weird one, man. Yeah. Who said being scared of anyone? That's right. Stop putting words in people's mouth, man. Who's scared of who? I don't even know. Let's see. All right, let's keep going. Listen to music. All right, we can do that. I'll be listening to some music today, I'm sure. Superfan Mo saying stars of the game for her. IQ, RJ, Mamu, Jamal, and Colin, Jameson, and Scotty. Wow, she got 7 stars there. That's pretty good. That's a good list. Shaq Lindsay saying, I would do only 2 small trades to make our team unstoppable. Dick for Keon Ellis or Cam Thomas, and Oshai for Dayron Sharp, Nick Richard, or Goga. So you want to do one of those 2 little deals. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not thinking we need either Keon or Cam. I really don't think we need them. I think that what's happening is the Raptors bench guys, the young kids, are going to figure it out more and more as the season goes on, and they'll be better by the end of the year. You'll see better production from Jacoby and Grady and Jameson and people like that by the end of the year. I really do feel like they're going to get it together, and they'll figure it out. Superfan Mo saying Raptors missed their last 19 3-pointers, and then Emmanuel quickly made the most important one to put the Raptors 8 games above 500 now. Yeah, beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Let me look at the standings real quick. Yeah, we're currently, they flipped back. The Knicks were below the Celtics for a second, but they won last night to go back over the Celtics. But we're only a game behind Boston. And this is the thing. We're going to play Boston tomorrow night. And if we beat them, we're tied with them. So we're tied with them in the, and we're so close to second in the East. Like we're way closer now at this point to Boston and New York than the pile of teams behind us. Now we need to beat Boston on Friday. This is going to be tough, and it's going to be in their turf. And I'm fully expecting. I'm going to call it now. Ed Malloy is going to be on the ref report tomorrow, guys. I'm going to say it right now. And you remember I said this right now. If Ed Malloy is our crew chief tomorrow night, we're fucked. They're going to make sure Boston beats us. Now, the Philadelphia games, both of them being in Toronto, those are really important games that we need to win, both of them if we can. Boston's going to be tough, man. I'm not going to say we need to beat Boston for sure because I hope we do, but it's going to be very, very tough. If we do, I'll be very, very happy. It's going to be very, very, very tough. So a little standings check there real quick. Closer to Boston and New York than Orlando, Miami, and Philadelphia at this point. We got closer to them. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, can't we just all get along? That's right. Nothing too serious. We're just bantering. We all have different opinions and some similar opinions too. And that's all that matters. Kaloy saying, morning, everyone. Yesterday was amazing. By all accounts, we should have lost that game. Love the fight. Something is cooking in the North. We are the only team that's winning, that's shooting 20% on threes. I know. And that's the thing. If things balance out over the course of a game or a course of the season, maybe all the missing and stuff, we're going to have better shooting by the end of the year. And a lot of the 3-point misses we made this year will be balanced out by makes in the near future. That's what I hope. The law of percentages and averages, it says that kind of stuff. That's right. Stargate saying, Shaq Lindsay, you're right. My bad. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Shaq Lindsay saying, you and Seymour are juggernauts on this channel. Respect. It's all good. It's all in fun. I don't want anybody to get upset. If I insult you guys by accident, know that I'm just crazy and I have no filter. And in some ways, I can't help but just say what I believe. Like I've actually tried to be really, really a lot nicer. In the beginning, I was really not nice to people on this channel, and I've become better about it. And I when I disagree with people, I'm learning how to do it in a more respectable way. Because I feel like there were times when I was first starting to do this channel and I opened it up to everybody where I was absolutely turning people off because I was such an asshole. So I'm trying to come at differences of opinion that I don't necessarily see. I'm not totally good at this yet. but I am getting better and better. This is one of the areas that I am trying to work on this channel. And people that watched me this whole time, they could tell you that, yeah, Lex is a lot more easygoing on some stuff. He was weird at times in the past. So I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Mr. Quasimodo saying this was a win against the refs. Yeah, definitely an 8 versus 5. Those guys were trying to prop up the Hornets. And, well, if they'd had their way, we would have not made that shot at the end. Yeah, it was undeniable. We took that game. That's right. Yeah, Kaloy's saying, yeah, the refs were so bad last night. Yeah, I wasn't hoping they wouldn't be. Like Schroeder and Twardowski, they don't have good records with us. Barnaky, he's had okay times with us in the past, and he was fair. In some ways, he didn't slam the door on us and absolutely stop us from winning. So I have to give credit to Brent Bernecki for that. But they were not trying to help us for most of the game. The possession arrows and the side out fouls were really frustrating. Really, really frustrating. I mean, how do you feel as a player when you're missing so many shots and then you finally make a shot, but then the ref waves off the basket and says that's a foul before you took the shot, it's on the floor, and you're side out inbounding the ball? That happened a lot to the Raptors last night. But they just kept their heads going, and they just kept going, and they won, and it didn't matter. They didn't let that stop them. You add into Darko practicing emotional self-control at a key moment in the fourth quarter where he could have got a technical, and we won by 1 point. See, that was crazy. That's an amazing coaching job to hold back when he wanted to go nuclear on the referees because they were so bad at that point. That play where Khan pushed Jamal into PJ Hall, and it was a foul called on Jamal Shed. That was where Darko was about to get a tech, but he stopped himself at the last minute. And you saw Pat Delaney and James Wade holding him back. He wanted to go off, trust me. But he realized he had the wherewithal to catch himself and say, you know what? If I do this, I might hurt our team from winning. That's huge. That's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a coach practice that kind of emotional self-control in that situation with the headiness of knowing that it could absolutely determine the game. That, I mean, in some ways, you got to see that, Raptors fans, and you have to acknowledge Coach Darko for that. Seriously, you have to acknowledge that. It was amazing, honestly. I'd never seen that in a basketball game ever, at any kind of level, a coach able to do that. Seriously. G saying this, a group of toxic fans had a sad night despite the win. RJ carrying in the fourth, IQ game winner. Scotty saying, what are they going to say? Put them in a loop. Yeah. Credit Darko for sure, super fan. Credit Darko. Very, very much. Yeah. Kaloy saying, thoughts and prayers to the family of that lady that ICE killed yesterday. Things about to go crazy down south. I have friends in Tallahassee that are posting on Facebook now. Go get your guns and get ready. Train on how to use them because you need to be looking out. Because honestly, the law enforcement, that's the thing. It's a tricky thing. Police have to understand what their purpose is. Is your purpose to protect corporate oligarchy and their property, or is your purpose to protect the common good and the public safety and the citizens of your jurisdiction? It's really a similar kind of way to the military. Is your service to the Constitution, or is it to a dictator who's a wannabe king named Trump? That's the thing. All these people have to figure out what is your real oath and where do you stand on that? And will you stand with your oath that you originally took and what it actually means? Because they're trying to change that. They want yes men. They want bootlickers. They want people that are willing to do atrocities outside the line of law to subjugate the country into submission for what they want. And that's the thing. That's going to be the fight coming up. And in some ways, I will applaud any law enforcement or military that understand what their true role and what their real oath and what their purpose in this world is. And they don't get sucked into this darkness that is trying to control them and tell them how to do their jobs. Because this is scary time, man. In fact, I got pulled over last year by a cop when I was leaving a karaoke night at a town near me. And I don't drink. You guys know that. I have 15 years, but they saw me pull out of a bar and they pulled me over and they did a check to see if I was drunk driving. And the police officer came up the window and I said, I don't drink, officer. I just came up to the bar to sing karaoke because I enjoy that. And he felt so ashamed. And somebody's, oh, I'm so sorry. I just saw you leave the bar and I thought I might need to check you for sobriety. I say, nah, man, I've got actually 15 years. And he's like, wow. He's like really proud of that. And I turned in and I said to the cop after that, guys, there's a lot changing in the world right now, and I really do hope that you guys understand that you're here to protect and serve the community and what your job is. And he's like, yeah, I take this very seriously myself. And it's like, look, this is something that is really danger. And the police officers have to understand what their job is and what they're supposed to be doing. And in some ways, what that officer did yesterday, I don't even call him an officer. He's just a masked thug that's been hired as a freelance or something like that. He actually caused more public unsafety, not making public safer. He made it more unsafe, and he made it more less trusting for law enforcement. And a lot of good cops would tell you that that's not what they want. They want the public trust. They want the people to believe that they're the good guys and that they're going to be the heroes and the ones that are going to help the people that need the help and the justice. So it's a real battle, and it's an ethical battle. And it's one where soul searching has to come to people that are supposed to be enforcement, whether they're military or a law enforcement. And they have to search their soul and understand exactly why they started that career in the first place. Some of them are bullies from high school that were jocks, and they never had any other path. And they absolutely love being a psychopathic, malignant, dangerous person behind a badge. But some of them actually got into the profession to serve the community and make the world a better place. So we'll just have to see. This is going to be a very interesting time for these dilemmas with these individuals that are in these positions. And there's already military people that are taking a stand against Trump. There was an admiral in the Navy who refused to do the strikes on the boats that they've been doing recently. And, he's a hero. He's a hero. In some ways, somebody say, oh, no, that guy's wrong for that. If you're MAGA, sure. But no, he knows his oath and he stood with it. And we just need enough people doing that. And I think we'll be all right. So yeah. Anyway, that's a long aside there. In some ways, I don't want to talk about all the politics totally. I really don't. This stuff is going to be changing so quickly, so fast, and there's going to be so much stuff happening. I don't mind talking about it for just a second, but I really do want to focus my channel mostly on basketball. But I'm willing to talk about this to an extent also. But yeah, in some ways, I don't want to introduce it very often. Seriously, because it's going to get really crazy, and there's going to be so much. This channel I could make a whole other channel just on that subject, and we could talk about that for 2 hours also. Seriously, yeah. Stargate saying, I'm hoping that Brandon's situation is just going to be Rocky Balboa and stitch me up, Mick. Well, in some ways, we want him to coalesce the proper speed and schedule and not rush back, because if he rushes back, it could actually be more time out. So there's a balance. There's a balance here. Yeah, with Dr. Alex. So you meant me, Dr. Alex? No. Chloe saying, see, now the Wizards are following our footsteps and trading for a true number one scorer like we did for Brandon, instead of perpetually tanking to get that number one in the draft. Trendsetters. I don't see Trey as a true number one. You guys give him way more credit and put him more esteem on him. I think he's just as good as Jordan Poole showing up on the Wizards. Yeah. Yep. Mr. Quasimodo saying, yo, those injections can save games. Scotty getting an injection in his knee last night, I guess. Yeah. Superfan Mo's got my cutoff. Thank God I'm at 3 hours. Yeah. Thank you for limiting my comments, and let's try and keep climbing. That's right, Mo. Let's keep getting those W's. All we do is win, no matter what. That was definitely last night. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Congrats to Quickly, 3-point clutch. You keep showing up right at the end. I'm like, Cool Cat, I guess she has a busy time and she can only get in near the end of the stream. But when I'm overtime, like I am 3 hours in now. Yeah. Mr. Quasimodo saying, sorry for saying this after the comment cut off, but did we do any trades like Oshai in 2019? Yeah, we traded Jonas and Jonas for Marc Gasol. We traded CJ Miles, DeLon Wright, and Jonas Valanciunas to upgrade at center for Marc Gasol. But this is not that situation with Jakob. This is not the same situation. Like trading Jakob to get AD is not an upgrade. Let's just put it that way. Mark for Jonas was an upgrade for sure, but that's not an upgrade. That's just spending more money in a position that you don't really need to do that, honestly. So I don't know if that's your point on it. I mean, it's likely the Raptors will make a deal around the trade deadline, possibly, but I don't think that it's absolutely necessary, is what I'm saying. I'm not, that's what I mean right there. Kayla interview with IQ was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's good stuff. Kareem saying, I've been adamant about this Noah board. Yeah, you brought this up last night. I saw that. I fucking hate it. Imagine shooting and a fucking computer keeps correcting your shot. Players get caught up trying to fix what the computer wants. We've been a bottom shooting team since we invested in it. Rip it down and donate it to Isaac or Seymour, whoever was putting up shots earlier. That was Seymour. Seymour was shooting shots. Yeah, I've said before we should rip it off the wall and throw it in Lake Ontario. And that was years ago when I said that. Yeah, I feel like in some ways the Noah system is useful, but it's also probably maybe lets players get in their head too much about their shot. Could that be true also? Yeah, I feel like that's true that like the shooting for the Raptors has gone down since the Noah system was implicated by Nick Nurse. He wanted it so bad. I think he made a commission on it, honestly. He like made the Raptors buy this Noah system and he actually made a money from getting it. I don't know. The way he portrayed it and pushed it so hard. I don't know, man. It's an easy scapegoat, but also at the same time, we haven't shot better since we got it. So what the fuck does it do? Seriously. Yeah, Mo's saying no more. I don't want to hear no more hate for IQ. I'm with you on that. Brandon is day to day. Okay, that's interesting. Stargate saying it's going to be a shit show in DC. Watch. No way Trey and Kashawn getting along. That 90% of Kashawn's possessions gone just like that. That's what I'm thinking too. Like Keyshawn George is such a future for that team. He's a Scotty-like player. They are way better off investing around him and building around him. Trae Young needs to just be here for a second. And in some ways, man, it doesn't matter who's trying to do any favors for him. Seriously. It's not going to end well. Trust me. I totally agree with Stargate on this. It's not going to end well in Washington. In fact, it may very well be a reality comes crashing down for Trae Young and he realizes his NBA career is almost over very, very soon because the money's not worth it for him and what he gives to the team. Kaloy saying Washington's going to average 120 points and get beat by 30. That would be crazy. That's pretty crazy, Kaloy. I like that. Stargate saying Keyshawn was making such progress and developing so well, and there it all goes, one fell swoop. Well, we'll just have to see how they balance it. You know, Trae Young's been hurt also. Remember that. Maybe he'll be hurt a lot, and that'll help. I don't know. Kaloy saying, hey, everyone, do y'all agree with me that CMB is going to be way better than OG defensively? I don't know if that's true. In some ways, they're apples to oranges. I don't know. In some ways, he started better than OG on defense. Yeah. I think that the early returns in his first year are better than OG's, but I don't know if this is true. This is a tough thing to say. Give it a couple years and we'll revisit it. Kareem saying, listen, I'm not the one to advocate for players on different teams, but Diabate is someone I would go after once he becomes a free agent. Fuck, I'll trade the first and a couple of that with a player or two. I don't mind that. And obviously RJ and them know him a bit. And he'd be useful for us. He would be. Yeah, I don't mind him coming to Toronto. But it has to be for the right stuff and it has to be in the right timing. And right now it's not the right timing. But in the offseason or in a free agency situation, if he came to Toronto, I'd be very happy. He's that kind of player for sure. Let's see. Kaloy saying, or Kaz is saying, yes, Carlo. He's saying, I'm in on Diabate. The guy's a beast. Yeah. And the fact that he's friends with RJ already helps. James saying, Colin has all the defensive potential. We got another one in Barnes, defensive duo. Yeah. Those guys are awesome, man. There's a lot of similarities, but there are differences too. Kaloy saying, if you combine Shed and IQ, you will have the perfect guard. I don't know if that's true. What's worse, Lex, is ICE didn't let any EMT doctors to check up on the lady for a long period of time. They didn't even let the EMT truck in. They had to carry the lady's body like a sack of potatoes. Yeah, is that how you treat your own citizens? Is that a free society? Is that America the Great? Are you making America great again? No, you're not. And that's really messed up. That's tragic and horrifying is what I'll say. The raw footage of the incident is there. And this is why people need to film these assholes, because they tried to say something else happened. And it's very clearly what happened is on the tape that everybody filmed around there. So that's what I'm saying. If you see this kind of stuff in your neighborhood with police out there, get the phone out and start filming them. Seriously. Because you may be a hero just for filming that, just to get the truth told after they try and make up a story about what they want you to believe happened, but it's not true. Everything that the fucking maggots and Trump and the Republicans of the United States say is a lie at this point. Everything's a lie. They do not stand for truth and justice. They're dishonest criminals that are a mafioso type organization. So just realize this. That's what we're up against. And you can't trust these people to follow the rules. You know, in some ways, there's a lot of things that got to happen to right justice, equality, and freedom in the United States. And that is extinguishing this scourge on their government and the movement that's going on right now, and absolutely treating it like the Nazi regime and killing it forever in different ways by showing that it is not acceptable and that we will come back and change everything back after this is all said and done, to show just how unacceptable all this was, is what I'm saying right there. Noon cutoff. Holy crap. I'm at the noon and a half right now. Raptors champ saying Mo is off because someone better is coming. Yeah, Mo Bamba just didn't work out, guys. And in some ways, it doesn't matter. Somebody else is coming. Yaka Pirtle is coming. As they say, and Seymour and BI have the same wingspan, just saying. Seymour Pape has the same wingspan as Brandon Ingram. That's amazing. That's amazing. Kaz is saying 2-finger salute, Ed Malloy. I'll get behind on that. Yeah, I'll get behind on that. Let's see. Kaloy saying, I've always believed in that Serbian man. It's crazy to think, but this team can still get so better. I doubt we are 75% of our potential. Yeah, the age of our team, the success of our team already at this young age, and we're not even polished. We're not even making shots. There's so much room to grow. There's so much room to grow in excellence and stability and expectation. There's so much room to grow. All right, I got to the end of the chat finally. Let me just get my my tabs done. All right, there's the celebration in the locker room on Instagram. RJ Barrett, there's the chain around Emmanuel. He's soaked. He's absolutely soaked. And everybody's calling 5, calling God also, and calling Sexton. Well, he saw God when he saw that shot go over his head. Yeah, I guess the Instagram stories are all pretty much the same. It's mostly just the Raptors celebrating afterwards and posting the game-winning buzzer and the team photo with everybody posing. Yeah, it's really kind of all the Instagram. There's not really anything that's totally different. It's all pretty much all the Raptors have posted it. Sandro, Emmanuel. Oh, Sandro celebrating Orthodox Christmas yesterday and putting that out on his Instagram. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going through them all. Oshai, Jacoby, Jamal, Scotty. They all have the same thing. Jameson Battle, Matt Devlin. They all have the same thing. Let's see. What's Fred got here? Fred's reading a book right now in his car, and it's As a Man Thinketh is the book Freddie is reading right now, riding around in his car. Okay, what else do we got? That's pretty much it. Serge Ibaka's working out somewhere half an hour ago. He's on the court, on a basketball court, putting in work somewhere. Oh, he's at some dancing thing. These guys were dancing, man. They had some crazy moves. Yeah, that's it. That's the Instagram stories. All right, let's keep going. Y'all, straight goods on Canadian goods. You know, we didn't talk about calling 5. Call 5 last night is very much call 5. Well, in Canada, you know, a great phone company to have is the Canadian company Freedom Mobile. And that's who I actually have with my phone. I switched from Bell to Freedom a couple of years ago when I moved out here, and it's been a fantastic change. Freedom Mobile is a fantastic mobile carrier. It's a Canadian company. As I said, it's headquartered here in Toronto, and their rates are fantastic. I've been paying less than $40 for my cell phone bills since I switched to Freedom Mobile. Does that sound good to you? There's so many gouging and telecom prices and bills these days. Freedom Mobile gives you the freedom to get away from Bell and Rogers with your phone. And they do have internet in a lot of places around too. They just don't have it here where I'm at right now, but they will eventually, I'm sure. So y'all, straight goods on Canadian goods, Freedom Mobile. It's actually a company that exists to fight monopoly in this industry. So if you want to be on the little guy's side and get a great rate monthly for your phone bill, switch to Freedom Mobile today. There you go. There you go. Switch to Freedom. This is a company that I strongly believe in. I use them myself. So that's a ringing endorsement right there. Happy birthday to original Raptor, Willie Anderson. That's right. It is Willie Anderson's birthday. Willie Anderson, old chill, former San Antonio Spur, played for the Raptors in the first year of the Raptors. That only year was the only year he played for us. 49 games, 42 of them he started, and he averaged 12.4 points in the inaugural year of the Toronto Raptors. So happy birthday to Willie Anderson. And I believe he is 50, what is he, 55, 50 something. He's 50 something. But yeah, happy birthday to Willie right now. Let's see, any more breaking news? Yeah, Karthika's saying Toronto is 6-0 when shooting below 26% from three. We're 6-0 and undefeated when we shoot so bad from three-pointer. That's amazing. All right, let's do the classic card. Let's get on the stretch to get out of here, since I've got y'all here for 3 hours. Of course, it was an epic game last night, so it made sense that y'all would want to talk for a while on this. All right, here's the classic card. Full name answer, please. You can figure out who this is. It's not a Team USA card. It's kind of interesting. Team USA card. That's easy, man. This one should be gotten right away. That's right. Dame Lillard, Fiercey. I'll take the short name, Dame Lillard. She got in ahead of Kaz and Carlo by putting in the Dame. So, yeah, we'll give it to Fiercey today. Fiercey. It's an easy one, so it's only 50 points. It's not a huge one. All right, let's see. Damian Lillard. Yeah, and he hasn't played at all this year, right? He's still out, right? Fiercey. And it's a 50-point card today. Yeah, Fiercey's still leading on the trivia total overall. And just so you guys know, on the last Tuesday of this month, we will do Tuesday trivia on Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia on Tuesday. That's right. Fiercey too fast. Fast fingers Fiercey. That's what we used to call her. Fast fingers Fiercey. That's right. The eye candy. All right, let's see. That's about it, guys. All right, let me do the rundown. There is a Raptors 905 game tonight, and the referees will be Noblesville versus Raptors 905, the second game of two. Chalisa Painter is the crew chief, number 66. Jafar Kinsey is the referee, number 38. And Ian McClenny is the umpire, number 59. 7:30 is the tip-off. I hope you'll come there and be in the chat with Monique and I later on tonight. Raptors won against the Hornets last night in an epic game in Raptors history, a 1-point win with an Emmanuel Quickley game winner. He is my number 1 star of the game. RJ Barrett, number 2 star. Sandro Mamukelashvili is my 3rd star. Colin Murray-Boyles, my 4th star. And Jamal Shed is my 5th star, with an honorable mention to Scotty Barnes. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys had a great day. Have a great day, and that you enjoyed the game last night, and keep those winning vibes going in your own lives. And, have confidence in your own ability. That's the lesson from Emmanuel and RJ. Don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to the haters. Don't let them define you, and be your own person, and you will come through in your own confidence. And that's what we learned last night. And we got a really good coach coaching our team too. All right, y'all, have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the preview for the Boston Celtics game on Friday night. I'll have all the latest lineup news and the ref report. Ref report undefeated, and we better not see no Ed Malloy tomorrow. I'm calling y'all out right now. NBA, if you put Ed Malloy in the game for Boston, I know y'all are screwy and fishy with what you do in different ways. That's right, champions. That's right, champions. Drop the mic. It's expensive. I won't do that. Let's go. Raptors champions 2019, and also Raptors champions again in the near future, because Masai Ujiri believes in this city and this franchise. We will get it again. That's right. Let's go, IQ. Oh, call Emmanuel, and all those shots will fall, and the Raptors fans will rejoice, Emmanuel.